Hey, what's good, everybody? I guess my program is off today. Looks like we're a little bit early. We're a little bit early, but it's better than, of course, being late. And of course, I'm going to give everybody a little bit of time to get into the building, being the fact that we're like I said, we're a little bit early, about 2 minutes early. So I will allow that. Again, better being early than being late. And for those who are pretty much walking in the building, who will walk into the building. Like I said, it's better to be here now than anything else. Anyway, for those who are here, for those who might be walking in, welcome to an episode of Opinionated with yours truly. I am Resla, and of course, if you weren't sure, because we've always got new people that are walking in here, this show is all about having real conversations. Because there's plenty of people that are characters out there on the internet. There are plenty of characters all the time. There's always a new grift. There's always somebody that's willing to forsake whatever the hell they really intended to have a show for. That is, if they're not trying to do what everybody else is doing. And the idea of the kind of channel that we're having here, that we really want to have thought provoking conversations. I do pose a lot of questions or a lot of different controversial topics, but also the main part is to really question the person in the mirror, which is ourselves. The kind of ideas that we have, the kind of thoughts that we say, the kind of things that we believe. Is it really the stuff that we genuinely believe? Or is it because of the fact that we've been indoctrinated because we've been hearing the same rhetoric from social media, other media sources, or things that have been perpetrated by those around us who are also affected by media and indoctrination or talking points? And we tend to believe that these things happen to be true. Are your thoughts that you're indicating when it comes out your mouth, are they truly yours, or are they those of other people being echoed throughout your existence? That's the point of this show, to make you really think about it. Before we get started, of course, I got a couple of things I want to talk about here. And it's funny, I could have actually just posted a lot of the stuff that I was looking at earlier um, as a live, but I necessarily didn't. For those who don't know, sometimes I have my own particular segments where I do things for myself. They don't go live. It's just me kind of looking for content, things like that. And now I'm thinking about whether I want to incorporate that into the actual show itself. So therefore, you would get the more content that I do want to look at, that I do want to have a conversation with you guys about. But then I'm wondering if I also want to make a stream where basically you go with me on the journey as I look for content and what are my initial thoughts when I do come across things. Because sometimes I do look at particular segments that I have done a little bit of research on, and then there's a lot of them that I really don't. But before we even really get into that, I want, of course, thank the people who are already here early. You know, the people that like to get into the chairs nice and early. And right now, it looks like that is Mayo Monkey. Hey, welcome for coming in. It does say that we have somebody else in here, but I'm not really sure who it is. But that's all right. If you don't want to open your mouth and say anything, that's fine. You can sit back and relax. And part of the things that I want to cover today, I saw some things that popped up on my feed for social media. I did look at some other things and what other people said about more viral things that have popped up over social media as well. But also, I want to have a larger conversation about, quite frankly, carry and conceal permits. So there was an incident that took place, and we'll get to it later, about people who are carrying the carry and conceal permits here in New York City. For those who know, when you happen to be in a large metropolitan area, it is really tough to get uh, permits in order to carry firearms with you. It's not against the law. You can definitely do so, but it is, you can say, highly discouraged. And really, if you're not someone in law enforcement, the idea of being able to carry such things, whether you want to just protect yourself, which you have a right to do, protect your property, which you also have a right to do, the idea that with all of the violence that we do happen to see, and when you just take a look at other particular states who do have carry, and keep in mind, I just said concealed carry. I didn't say open carry. You know, not that I have a problem against open carry, but because we're not going to make a distinction between the both of those. Obviously, no difference between concealed and open. But the question is, should we be more open to having more people be able to have access to carry weapons, so long as there are actually permits and everything behind it. And of course, I say yes, but it's just so difficult to get your hands on an actual weapon because they say we don't want everybody to have weapons because, quite frankly, it'll just create the Wild West and there'll be murder in the streets. When the truth of the matter is that a lot of people who run into situations are the people who are carrying weapons and they don't own them. They're illegal firearms. And one thing that's always been in my mind, whether you want to approve that or not, we can go down and look through statistics if you want to. I haven't done so because I don't know what's the most recent thing. But in my personal opinion, just based on feeling, I'm not even going to say anything about facts because I do like to bring facts to a lot of my shows. But in my own personal opinion, I always basically say that you don't know what you don't know. And there's so much context behind that if you're really leaning into it. When it comes to people who are in the streets and they just was the young or the old or the bold or the brave, Roland the brave, the people who are stupid, whatever. If you can put it into people's minds that they don't know what they don't know at all times, you move with a sense of cautiousness. You move with a sense of assessing what is the most immediate risk, right? Which means that you are less likely, unless you're, inebriated, you are less likely to take unnecessary risk in order to gamble. For those who know me, I'm not much of a gambling man. I will gamble with a couple of things, but they're going to be at the highest order of things. I wouldn't gamble unnecessarily. I don't do it for fun. Let me just say that way. And I think if we had it in more people's mind to just say that you are confident in what you have, what's going on, and what your skills are, but you don't know what are the skills of the other individuals, and therefore you should move with a degree of caution, is something that I believe we should hold for everyone. But when we have people who are out there who are perpetrators, who know that pretty much by law and by standard practice, but the majority of people, at least in urban areas, have a hard time, if anything, to be able to carry firearms and where they can carry firearms, when they can actually use those firearms, how they are able to use those firearms. It's pretty difficult to protect yourself, especially with the uprising in, let me just say, mental health that's happening throughout cities. So you have a lot of people who are being attacked in subways. I say a lot, but I'm really just perpetrating what's out on social media. But then even if you look on social media, you can say a lot of people who get hit in gas stations. I remember people in gas stations, out in the street, in the subways. Even if you don't talk about other people who have weapons, then you have to think about those who have knives. I remember seeing a video a long time ago, where a woman, we don't even know what the hell the reason why, but she stabbed a child, I think in the face with a knife. Why? I don't know. But you have these type of people, and I guarantee you the parents that were there that had to protect their child did not have any other means to protect themselves, because the same way how we can say, well, you can walk around with a knife then since that fat bitch had a knife. True. But how many people are really walking around with knives on them, being that it's a weapon? The idea is that we frown upon keeping weapons, even when they're used to protect one another. Even if even if you can say like the UK, because the UK has a lot of issues when it comes to stabbings, right? Predominantly, people are not walking around with concealed knives, except for perpetrators, those who wish to do wrong. If everybody pretty much had in their mind that you can carry a knife on you to defend yourself, not to attack someone, I think perpetrators are less likely, unless, like I said, they're mentally unstable or they're inebriated, or less likely to want to attack someone, understanding the fact that they may not be able to walk out of the situation themselves unscathed. And that's the problem that I have with a lot of people, because we have this thing that we can do unto you and we don't really have the consequences because we feel like, I feel like it is a Star Wars reference. I have the high ground. You can't make it. You can't come for me. I have Anakin. I have the high ground. Because they have weapons and the off chance that somebody else doesn't have it is actually pretty high. they have the high ground. That's not to say that things can't flip. There's not a chance, but the chances of those things turning against them are slim. And if we up that threshold to at least, and I hate to say this, be some, I'm going to say on par, not equal, on par, that feels better. To say that we could be somewhere on par, people are less likely to take that kind of risk. And that's the way how I feel about firearms. I'm not against firearms. I think that actually if there was an increase of the good guys, because we can't just say that the people who are good guys are cops. Guys, we know better by now. I'm not demonizing cops. I'm saying that cops are individuals and humans and make fucking mistakes and have egos and everything like anyone else. And there are plenty of conversations all over the internet, plenty of podcasts, plenty of panels, plenty of everything out there that can give you that same point of view as well, even from those who work in law enforcement. I just think that we need to have, if we talk about progressive policies, right? People being able to safeguard each other, right? Then we should be able to do that. If you already have an overwhelming support of people who wish to not rely on police officials because we don't believe that A, they can keep us safe, and B, that they can show up in time to make us safe. I mean, let's just be honest. Anyone who's ever been in a fight ever in their life, because a fight is not a fight, whether it is a shootout, or I'll just go military, so a firefight, or an actual fist fight or knife fight. They're not structured one on one with time bouts. You can get a break with it's not the way that works. Sometimes it happens within seconds and even minutes. And with your average police response time being that of like 8 minutes, there's so much damage and the chance for anyone to get away versus you being able to protect yourself, to hold the situation down. Could you imagine trying to subdue and restrain someone for about 8 minutes? That'll be the longest 8 minutes of your life. Just saying. But a fight can happen instantaneous. With within less than a minute or two, the results are over. And therefore, there needs to be more in place for people to be able to protect themselves. That's just my personal opinion. If you have your own opinion about it, let me know. I mean, you know the different ways to reach me. I'll even put it out right now. You know the different ways that you can reach me. It can be Twitter. You can catch me here whenever I do my lives. I'm gonna work on posting my schedules so that you can see me a lot more on your own, so you can know when. But you have different mediums you can be able to reach out from me on, and also you can also write in the chat, or you can also write comments. I look at all that stuff as well. I'm just saying, but we can get into that. I agree, man. It never created the Wild West, but the same way how I would say in cities, the perception of taking care of people's feelings is predicated versus is predicated, is put on the top versus what the actual facts are. How people feel is different from what they actually see. You saying that earthquakes are not really that much of a problem in a city or even in the US to a person who came from somewhere like Haiti and they had their earthquake, they're traumatized of earthquakes. So now any form of shaking is going to make them feel unstable. And therefore, they feel that there's terror every time there's a shake. They could be living in an old house. It could be shaking. They feel there's an earthquake coming on and they're suffering with trauma. And therefore, they believe that someone somewhere should be doing something about it. I know earthquake is a rather extreme example because you can't really do much about an earthquake. But in reference to attacks and things like that, people have a problem with things like this. And there needs to be some way to, I guess, either better be educated about these things. But before we even get into that case, 'cause that's something I really want to talk about, and I'm giving my opinion on it now. because I haven't really looked too far into this article. I started getting into it on my own, personal, looking through my feeds. And then when I started getting into it, I said, I think this is something we can really talk about. But before I get into that, I wanted to cover some things that I did see that, quite frankly, I'm a little disturbed with. So the first one is, I want to make sure I get this right. This is a big one that just popped up on my feed of late.
Because I'm with her.
No, I know. You gotta give him space. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So did they recover the stuff?
This is your stuff?
Yes.
Grand Street.
So did they recover the stuff?
Is this yours, ma'am?
We don't know
Ma'am,
yet.
is this yours as well?
Yeah, that's my baby. I didn't steal shit, yo. That's crazy, yo. I didn't steal nothing.
All right, we need a case.
Yeah. Okay, my daughter can sit next to me. Okay. That's crazy, yo. I didn't steal shit, yo. I didn't steal nothing.
I'm gonna grab my car.
I didn't steal anything, y'all. Because I'm with her. What did they say I stitched? Could y'all please go watch the video? Please, because I didn't steal anything.
Whatever you want.
I didn't steal anything, yo. Please watch that video. Please, could you go watch it?
On the top, 1817, 1817,
Y'all really got my mother haircut. Y'all really got my mother haircut right now. What did she do? She didn't do nothing.
Okay. So couple of things there. So as you can pretty much see that it said cops are charging the mother of the young child because basically there was some sort of incident of shoplifting. I have a little bit more context of what's going on to this because apparently it was over the alleged person, the mother, stealing a pair of shades, right? Shades, glasses. We have a whole incident that's taking root in the street because apparently there was a theft of shades. Interesting. Now, she's saying I didn't do anything. The police are there. They already have her in handcuffs now. Oh no. I hear that. You know me. I try not to be biased or lean some way, but I did see a couple of things online, and I'm hoping I can find the original poster of this because I downloaded the video. But what happened is there were a couple of things that went through my mind when watching this, and the first one was the fact that sorry, I'm trying to actually find the original video as well. Uh, I'm trying to find the original video. I'm pretty sure it's on X. I can't remember where exactly. Or on TikTok, but if I can find either one. But the issue that I'm having in my mind is this woman here, she's being put into handcuffs, and there are things that go wrong even when it comes to the retail world, and I think that this even offers up a bit of trouble for that retail company because the cops went about speaking to this woman, basically putting this woman in handcuffs. They went through her bag and everything. They could not find the shades that the company, I forget what store it was, said that apparently was stolen. And it gets a little bit further than that. I want to give the full context.
Wait, stop. Me or her? Whoa. Does she have a ponytail?
That's what the store said. The store manager just drove by and gave us a thumbs up and said it was her.
Store manager.
That's why we put her in the police call. It was in the police call. It might be. They might just. So you're telling the store manager lying. So the cameras are lying. Just right.
So I do want to state that I want to find the actual TikTok, but I do want to say that because there was something that I saw on TikTok that I thought was freaking fascinating. But I do want to say at least shout out to that officer because he took it pretty. He took it pretty calm. He stayed really chilled. He treated the little girl with respect. He treated the girl with respect. She was wilding up. She was. I get it. It's her mom. There's a lot going on in the moment. She's stressed in the situation. She looks like she's maybe about, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 years old. But I do want to talk about something because we're gonna get a little bit further. There's a lot more to this video. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. Uh, Nope. And child. Ha! Looks like I was able to find. Oh no, it's posting of the posting. Basically, it's a forwarding of it. So it'll take me some time to actually find it. But the issue is why is this child act behaving in such a way? I get that the child would be upset. I Listen. I understand that the child would be upset. I'm not downplaying that whatsoever. But look at the mannerism and how the child is acting. And I wish I was on the page and then I restarted my computer and everything and I did not even think about going back to that page prior to the stream. Why would the child be behaving in such a manner? I want you guys to really pay attention as to how I get it. She's loud. She's upset. She's a little bit screaming. I get it. But it gets worse. It gets worse. And let's take a look at that.
Sunglasses, a gray top, and she had a dogger bag. The CV gave a description of a female black with long braids with the white baseball cap, white shirt, and
What glasses?
So, if you weren't paying attention right then and there, you can hear over the radio they're giving a description of the person that apparently stole the glasses, which is not the same person that they're um, confronting right now. You can see that the article, the clothing or whatever the apparel that they bought is all scattered on the floor, which means that the police have actually searched this woman, right? Her child is screaming, and if you didn't hear what the child was saying, leave my mother effing mother alone. Again, look how young this child is. Why is she talking like that? I'm not gonna like I don't want to do a back in the day kind of thing. But if I was to ever behave that way, if I was even that young, even if I was older, my mother would most likely want to slap the shit out of me for talking like that, for behaving in such a way that would only be looked at as escalating a situation. Now, I get it. Cops will have a little bit more leniency because it's a child. Nevertheless, hostile situations, hostile. What if she wasn't screaming? What if she got more belligerent? What if she wanted to start trying to attack the police? Where was the safeguard and etiquette as to how your child should be behaving? That's one thing people can. I'll say it since you don't know enough about me. That's one thing no one could really say about me growing up. Everybody always looked at my grandmother, looked at my mother, and said, "He's so well behaved." Because when I went out in the street with adults, I knew I could not act a fool. I could not do it. I could not do so. Look at the way how this young girl is speaking in front of her mother. There's no fear of repercussion because that means that other people have done these things around her. Yet, I wish I could pull a page up because the sentiment that was all over the original video for this TikTok. Poor girl. Oh, she must have seen a lot. Oh, she's so brave. Oh, look at her protecting her mother. Nothing but everything showing support for this young girl who was acting like a nigga. There was no reason for the way that she was behaving. Let me say that again. There was no reason for the way how she was behaving. I'm not saying she couldn't be upset. I'm not even saying that she could not be yelling. It's how she was displaying herself. The clapping, the flexing like she's going to do something. Why would a kid that young, this is a preteen, be saying things like, if you don't, my mother effing, if I even had begin to sound like I could potentially be cursing, any adult around me would quickly snatch my ass up. Quickly. Would have barked on me instantaneously. Would have had the instant transmission slap. What's wrong with you? Hey, mama. Thanks for coming up. You said she had that talk with her? So two things in that. If she had that talk with her, then that means either her mom gave her the okay and said, this is what you can do if said situation already come up, or she disregards what the hell the mother said. Yeah, it's one we always hear about. I don't have it in my mind whatsoever that this girl does not. You know what? No, I believe that she does curse around her parents and everything. I believe that they allowed it. Yeah, yeah. It gets a little bit funnier too. It gets a little bit funnier because now they gave over the CV, they give the freaking description. So it's a woman wearing a white shirt with braids. Obviously, she's wearing a gray kind of dress, uh, skirt, whatever, and then she doesn't have braids, right? So what's the conclusion to that?
Did I steal from Montclair?
Mommy, I know who it was.
What classes did I steal?
Pay attention to the little girl. Little girl just said, I know who it was.
Thank you.
Stop recording it now. You should not be recording it without our permission.
For my safety. Thank you.
My aunt stole glasses. It wasn't her. Do she have a fucking white t-shirt on? No. 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 My phone. Leave my mother.
This girl is basically, I don't know if she's been watching enough civil rights attorneys or whatever, but now she all of a sudden she's like, if the glove don't fit.
I don't have nothing though. This is crazy.
On my dead father. You don't have nothing.
On my dead father. Why would this little girl be speaking like that? Because who do we hear say that? On my mama. On my mama. Who do we hear talk like that? On my mama and them. On my grandmama and them. On my kids. Who talks like this? And she said she knows who it was. Let's listen.
I'm gonna kill somebody, bro.
She about to kill somebody. Little one says she about to kill. Someone's about to get murked. How? What you know about any of that? You about look at her. She flexing, she mad, she irate. I'm about to kill somebody. Honestly, the first time I heard this, I said it. By the way, how my mind works, I just immediately start laughing because all I could just hear was R. Kelly. And I pulled my Beretta out. She said, please. He said, freeze. And I pulled my Beretta out. What was you about to kill somebody? little girl. Seriously? Okay. All right. Let's go to the last one.
Give me her phone. Can I get her phone? Can I get her phone?
Look at the way she's moving. I can't tell between her and any grown woman. I can't tell the difference.
I love you, Mom.
I can't tell the difference from how she's behaving and how I see a lot of grown women act in the street these days. I cannot tell you the difference. I cannot tell you the difference. I see the same behavior. She's acting to a T. To a T. She's 100% accurate in the way how I see a lot of these women act in the street. So when we say it's childish behavior that we see up in these streets, Exhibit A. You said both were arrested? As far as I know, I only know the one woman was arrested because the other woman I don't see anywhere around or whatever. I never see her around. I didn't see anything that said that they were both arrested. All I see is everything that's indicated on the mother of the child, which I have other things to think about that as well. Somebody needed to pull a listen. But apparently this was all right because it's the mother, right? Obviously, there was no father in the household because he passed away, at least according to the little girl. I don't know, but she can't be no older than like 9. I don't see her and think double digits. I don't. You said she's dressed like a woman. Well, who dressed her? I'm just saying.
I don't know who you is. I can't talk to you. I don't know who you is.
Really disrespectful.
I'm sorry. I don't know who you is.
Mommy. Mommy, can I get it?
Okay, calm down. I didn't spill. You know I didn't spill nothing. Chill out. You gonna see me at the precinct. You're gonna
Juju, listen. Mommy's asking you to calm down. Please calm down. Okay?
I just want it. Can I please?
You can kiss mom. Go ahead.
calm down.
I'm hoping that
Mommy,
too.
Calm down.
why did I give me your phone?
I'm gonna give it to you. I want to give it to you.
Yes, 5-4. Can you push up around from this 24 Western 70 Catherine Street?
Can y'all go watch the video, yo? Please, I want the cops to watch it, my nigga. That's crazy. I didn't put nothing in nothing. I didn't spill nothing. This is bullshit.
All right, so we pretty much got the end of that. So I have a couple of things that I'm thinking about, right? I already put out some of them in my mind. Number one, why is that little girl acting that way? But there's also problems that I have. Well, absolutely, absolutely. There's no question in my mind that that's exactly what she's doing. She knows how to control it. But again, we see that all over. We've seen this game being played out before. But number one, little girl who's behaving the way that she's behaving, which is absolutely insane to me. Yes, that. But there's also a big problem with the police officers, right? I gotta pull that out. Hey, OG, what's good, man? What's good? I also gotta say this about the police officers, right? They went for the woman, right? They approached her. They gave her they searched her shit. She didn't have it on her, right? She's with a little girl, her daughter. That's it. She doesn't have the alleged merchandise on her. Let her go. I will Mayo, you said they were both arrested, but I didn't see the other woman who was indicated on the radio anywhere in any of the videos. She wasn't in the backseat along with the other woman. Because here's another thing. Why did they slap cuffs on her? Why was she detained? Why was she detained after they went through her shit and they saw that she didn't have it on her? If they wanted to, they could have pat down a little girl. The fact of the matter that the shades were nowhere in sight. They had her shit scattered on the floor. Again, I'm not defending bad behavior. I'm looking at evidence placed upon the floor. I'm just observing and critiquing what I see. Cool, Mayo, but I'm not discounting that. But we'll have to go. Here's the thing about it. If you didn't see it, it didn't happen. These are the general rules that happen. They did not indicate, there was no indication from the store managers that we hear about, whatever case may be, that says that, well, both of them were in on it. We know that they both know each other. That's it. Because that's another point that I want to make, Mayo, to this woman. Why on earth would you allow shit like this to happen when your daughter is amongst you? Why would you allow a woman that is now considering to be her aunt doing shit like this, placing you all in jeopardy, right? Unless you have already done this shit in the past, even with the little girl around, placing her in jeopardy, and then you get mad once you actually get found out. Because what if the mother was the person who originally stole it, but then passed it off to the other woman and she ran off? Because again, I didn't see her arrested. I didn't see her in cuffs. If there was a problem, right, where the mother was approached with her daughter, where was the other person? Where was the aunt? She was long gone already. What kind of friend are you? What kind of friend art thou? She was gone, leaving this woman and her daughter in that situation. What's up with that? But I'll go back to it. What was up with this little girl's behavior? And I'm gonna say the cops have a problem here because they should have let her go. Because you didn't have the person that you needed to have. The merchandise is already gone. You searched this woman, she didn't have it. You cannot prove that she was part of it. She doesn't have the merchandise on her. It's an accusation unfounded. You have no proof. On the CB, they're looking for a woman that was not her description. Why was she then still put into handcuffs? You say team theft. That was something that was not indicated. You're making things up. You're trying to piece things together. That would literally be grasping at straws, reaching in the air and trying to grab shadows. That was never indicated. You say team theft. It might have been, but they said they were looking for someone specifically. When you do your retail, whatever, because it was a retail place, when you do your watch, you look for the person that you're looking for, you follow them, you make sure that you're following that person, what they stole, where they stole it, where is it that they persons. There was no indication of team effort. There was one person indicated, at least in the video over that radio. And even if you say team effort, right? She doesn't have it. Therefore, she's not the person who has the stuff. You cannot steal something you do not have. You don't have anything. Therefore, you have stolen nothing. That's just the way how we have it written. Unfortunately, it's not like they were robbing a bank and they were all caught in the car. That's not. I hate to put it this way. After she didn't have it, by normal standards that I generally see, they let the person go. She was still apprehended. God knows what's going to happen to this little girl, whatever, despite the fact of how she's acting like a freaking baboon. The other person they're looking for, as far as I understood, looking at the context of the video, Looking at the context of what I saw in the video, there could definitely be a whole lot more. But the person who had it is the person who should be taken in. You said drop the link? Okay. Mayo, here is your link, sir. I'm gonna pin it to the top as well. Here's your link, sir. Yes, sir. What's going on?
All right. Go back on the video to where the little girl was sitting on the ledge and the cop was talking to her. What does that cop tell her?
Give me. Oh, well, I think that was my second video. Hold on. Oops. Come on. Right. I think it was this one.
She had a dog bag. The CV gave a description of a female black with long braids with the white baseball cap, white shirt, and
What classes did I steal from Mount
So no, it was the first video.
What classes did I steal?
Yeah.
Thanks. Because I'm with her.
No, I know. You gotta give him space. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So did they recover the stuff?
This is your stuff?
So did they recover the stuff?
Is this yours, ma'am?
We don't know
Ma'am,
yet.
is this yours?
Yeah, that's my baby. I didn't steal shit, yo. That's crazy, yo. I didn't steal nothing.
All right, we need a case.
Yeah. Okay, my daughter can sit next to me. Okay. That's crazy, yo. I didn't steal shit, yo. I didn't steal nothing.
I'm gonna get my car.
I didn't steal anything, y'all. Because I'm with her. What did they say I snitched? Can y'all please go watch the video? Please, because I didn't steal anything. I swear to God, Jessica. I didn't steal anything, yo. Please watch that video. Please, could you go watch it? Back up, hurry up.
Okay, she's sitting down now.
Yo, really got my mother haircut. Yo, really got my mother haircut right now. What did she do? She didn't do nothing. Wait, stop. Wait, stop. Me or her? Who?
That's what the store's saying. Confirm, right?
Does she have a ponytail? Or
That's what the store said. The store manager just drove by and gave us a thumbs up and said it was being one part. That's why we put it in notes.
You hear that, Resla?
Because they were together.
No,
the store
no,
manager.
no, sir, no. The store manager just drove by and gave her the thumbs up.
Oh,
That's
so she
why
was,
they put her
she was
in
the back-
handcuffs.
She was in the car. Yes, so she
Yeah.
was in the car to indicate that she was.
So she's been identified in the theft by the store manager.
Yeah, because they were together.
It's not. No. It's not just because they were together, sir. They don't arrest someone that's with a shoplifter. They will arrest somebody that has helped somebody shoplift.
I don't. Again, that's. Do they indicate in what way that they were both? They were both the people who were shoplifting.
They were both
Like,
arrested.
how did-
I know that.
How did they do
I can tell you how
did they
it's
do the
done.
effort?
I can tell you how it's done, sir.
Well, let's go through it because I've done a lot of retail organized crimes and I've been through a lot of situations. Where
And you ever see somebody? You ever see a person put something else in another person's bag?
Yes, I have.
Would they both be involved in that shoplifting, sir?
I have seen police officers only bring up the person who has the stuff on them. If they
Did they ignore the person who put it in their bag?
No, They don't ignore the person who's put in their bag, but at the same time, I have never seen that person get arrested. I'm telling you what I've seen, because if you don't have it on you, you're not a thief. You're not the person who brought it past the point of sales. I'm telling you what I've seen. And again, it could just be a New York thing because of how touchy people are when it comes to crime or it can be. So it could literally just be that. But I'm telling you how the way I've seen police officers move, and I'm not gonna say not all have been like that. I'm telling you, in the particular retail establishments that I have been known to work in, it has not been a thing that they really have gone through. And you can take that however you
Team
want.
shoplifting is a big thing now.
It is. It is. But like the way how a lot of mandates put in their policies, that they literally, if you don't have it on you, you don't want that trouble. Because the cops will turn around and look at it and say, so what would you like us to do? Because they don't got shit on them. And they always state, have you been the person who watched this person do it, and did you follow them throughout the entire process? Because the way they do it, and it's so messed up, the moment there's any form of eye contact that's been broken, or if they went around the corner, you didn't see them for a simple second, whatever. Because if you say they had it on them and you walk up to them and they don't have it on them, you're in much deeper shit. So let's just say the person said that she had this stuff in her or whatever, but then later on she's looking and this woman put it in someone else's bag or whatever, and now you think that it's still on the original woman and you accuse them and the cops roll up, you're in trouble. That's just the way how I've always seen it. Now, because this person, now the store manager probably just implicated them both as being as part of the team. And again, you may have seen the actual the article written on it, whatever, because I didn't. So I didn't hear about both of them being arrested because I was reading what you were saying in the chat. I didn't even see that part, but I could tell you just basing on looking in the video, that was my initial thoughts looking at the video, that there was no one else there. No one else was arrested. No one else was on scene. So.
No, Hilda Bragg, 27, is her aunt. And she was also arrested. Because it's common for them also when they get outside to go opposite directions.
Yes. Yes. I agree.
And remember, we're seeing one scene.
Yep.
And we're seeing it after police have talked to her. She's already in cuffs by the time the video starts. Their interaction and the searching of her bags has already been done before the video starts. So we don't know if they pulled anything out of her bag that was stolen.
I know that the thing that they mentioned that was being stolen was the actual the shades, the glasses, not anything else that she had in that bag. Did the article that you read state that she had other merchandise that was stolen?
Let me find it here.
It's a little weird because I'll be honest in saying that it's a little weird that they only stole one thing. So I will definitely leave credence to that. Like, I think it would be really weird that they only walked out and they only stole one thing. So if there were other things mentioned, any other articles that were mentioned that were taken in, that were already on the floor, cool. But all I know from just looking at the video, because I'm going to the video, they were talking about a pair of shades, and quite frankly, she didn't have it.
Trying to find the article again here.
Mama, I don't think so. I think this is just what they do. If they're running as a team, right? This is something that they do. It wouldn't matter if the kid was there or not. The kid is not used to the distraction. It's not. They would have done it regardless. In fact, if the kid would have been old enough where the kid could be slick and get on their own, they would probably just have the kid do it as well, steal as well. So I don't think the kid is just a distraction. You're not given a freebie points because you have a child with you, because obviously they'll still grab you. We've done it way back in the day when I worked like loss prevention and everything, and didn't care if you had kids.
And the girl said, the little girl even said, my aunt stole the sunglasses.
Yep, she did. She absolutely did.
So she knew.
Yep.
That there was shoplifting going on.
That's correct.
I mean, that's child endangerment, or that's
absolutely. No, you said it. It's child endangerment.
Yeah.
It's really it's reckless. It's reckless behavior.
Yeah. What? Contributing to the delinquency is the phrase I was thinking of.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
OG said that was a grown person in a kid's body. That's what I'm saying. You could not tell the difference between her and a lot of other these women that you see act up in the streets on social media and everything. She was pinpoint. It's either that was a grown woman in the kid's body, or she's a phenomenal young actress. She did a damn good job. That was Oscar worthy performance.
We've all seen the videos of the parents using the kids to steal too.
Yep. And like I said, and I know I have done enough. I have done enough trainings. I have been in the conferences where I teach these things as well, what to look out for. So I can say they're not using the little girl as she's just accustomed to seeing grown people steal. And again, recklessness. Oh, absolutely. No. We would definitely watch the kids. But I believe that literally they just wanted to steal. The intention was never to use the kid. If anything, when being caught, you can say, why would I steal? I have my child with me, but honestly, they would steal regardless.
Yeah, this kid's obviously witnessed this game before,
right? Because I've heard of women that done. I've seen it of women that done that when a kid's in a stroller.
Oh yeah.
Believe it or not, I don't think so. I don't think that they're that organized. When I've had to investigate some real tough cases of organized crime, ORCs. Oh my God. Like things that were happening. Like we've had people that they come in as teams. They come in, they have a list of all the things they're stealing, right? Then they take it all and they put it in particular bags, whether it is a backpack, whether it could be the store's bag, all kind of stuff. Maybe they have a particular shopping cart that they left behind and they stash it within the actual store in a very discreet area, maybe near the checkout, maybe not near the checkout. And then they leave the store. And a second team comes in, brand new, fresh faces, comes in, knows exactly where to grab the stuff, takes it, and walks out the door, basically saying, this was my stuff. I walked in with this bag. And let's be honest, unless you have someone who's literally sitting in a camera room or whatever, or someone who has enough time to be able to get to that person to say, to review footage to say, you didn't walk in with that bag, it takes time to scroll back footage in order to see that person walked in with that bag versus the fact that, as I stated before, you are not allowed to detain people. As retail security, you're not allowed to detain people. So think about the time limit now. From when the second team comes in, mama, think about the time limit. They walk in, they know exactly where to go. They're shedding off minutes on the clock to grab it, walk past the point of sales, walk out the door. You're talking about literally less than 10 minutes to get away with merchandise that already took an hour, half an hour, whatever, to secure in the first place from the first original team. By the time you're looking for someone who can try to stop them to say you didn't walk in with that, they're already out the door because you're not allowed to detain them. So even if you call cops, the average response time, at least I would say in New York, for cops coming through, is like 8 minutes. They're gone. Well gone. In the train station, probably on the subway platform. Like they done already. And again, there's this thing. If you didn't see it, it didn't happen. So again, no one saw the theft. No one saw the stashing because it's not theft unless it walks past the point of sales. No one saw the stashing of the merchandise. So you didn't see these new people come in and steal anything because all they did was grab a bag that they already claimed was theirs. It's good. It's good. It's good, which is why I always indicate in a lot of retail stores that, quite frankly, is low on manpower. That you need to have someone who is consistently on a camera system. You can't wait for something to happen and then you turn around and then say, well, we lost all this stuff. I said, because you don't have someone whose literally their job is to be on the cameras. They need to be a camera master. They need to be on that camera. That's their job. That's their shift. When you come in, you sit your ass down, you drink your water, you eat your snacks or whatever, or you eat your bathroom break or lunch or whatever. But your job is to surveil these goddamn cameras. Because we can only do but so much on the floor. Because when we're on that job, we have to consistently keep moving. I'm sorry, but you don't just get people who sit in one area of a retail store. You don't have that kind of money to put them in. So they're doing patrols basically. But that person who's sitting in that camera has more of an opportunity to actually see more about what's going on in that store. That's just the truth of the matter.
Yeah.
How
They
can
were
you
both charged with petite larceny,
really?
the stolen property, and the mom was charged with failure to control a child.
Okay, the mama being okay. Listen, if they're a part of that team, yes. I find it interesting how in the city, when I say Manhattan, really, that they could find a way to throw all these charges on, but in the outer boroughs off the island, they can't really find a way to do that. They wouldn't really take the time to do so. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
Well, because Bragg is trying to appear tough on crime due to the retail. He's getting a lot of pressure from retailers.
Yeah, retailers have been taking hits
from
for
big
over a
retailers.
decade now.
Yeah.
Big boxes have been taking a hit for over a decade. It's ridiculous.
Because
the
a
idea they're
year
tracking right
ago,
now
a
is
year or
good.
two ago, they wouldn't have charged either one of them.
I agree.
But now he's taking political pressure.
Like I said,
Because
I've been
businesses
out
are
of the
leaving.
retail game. Yeah, I've been out of the retail game for almost 2 years, and well, roughly 2 years. I did survey a retail store, but I have been not worked in a retail store for almost 2 years now. So I can tell you from back then, they would just let them go. They would not be given that much pressure.
Well, that also because they knew Bragg wouldn't charge him back then.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, if anything, you ask me, that's a step back in the right direction. A step backwards in the right direction. Yeah. Because the big shutting down of all these retail stores is just ridiculous. Hey, what's going on, CCD? High school baseball team. Okay. All right. And you won? All right. You need what you need to do is you need to throw that in Black Who Defies face, because they team be losing like crazy. Maybe you can give some pointers.
Yeah. Yeah, petite larceny charge back in 2022 would have got you a desk ticket.
Mm-hmm.
And it was listed as one of the items for no prosecution back in 2022. But obviously he's pushing back on that now.
I'll take it. I'll listen. That makes me want to brush up on my retail laws again. Listen. I take it, especially if. But I would also have to say that it has to be that because that particular store is in that city district. I also have to say that they have the luxury of having a quick police response time because there's just more police in the actual city. So I can imagine that police response time must have been like minutes, like 3 to 4 minutes, because typically it takes a long time for cops to show up because there's just so little on duty for those shifts. So,
and according to this, there's more to that video. There's a longer version of that video.
Really now?
That actually gives the description of the mom and the bag she's carrying.
You got the video?
No, that's what I read on Daily Mail, sir.
Damn, I didn't even bother looking at the Daily Mail. Yeah, I didn't see the longer version.
There's two radio calls. It's just like the one, when the cop tells her, that the manager drove by and pointed her out.
Mm-hmm.
Tells the kid. Most people miss that too.
No, I heard when the store manager pointed them out, but because I know I've done it. I've gotten in the back of a squad car, and I pointed them out. It's like, yeah, that was the person that did whatever. I've done that. Hell, I've been the type to actually get out with them. Like, squad cars looking for me, and they're like, he already took off. They're like, wait, what? They're going down the block, and they see me like a block away from them was still watching them. Like, it's him right there. It's her right there. Like, and they already know me, so they're just like, all right, cool. Whoop, whoop. They just ran up on them. They look at me. I'm just like,
I just can't believe people are praising her behavior.
That's okay. So you see what I saw then. You see what I saw.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah. That's yeah.
So brave. Oh, that poor child. How could they do this? Only in New York can they do this to people? I'm just like, seriously? We don't see the bad behavior?
In the end, though, the mother's behavior amongst her circle is accepted.
Like she said, that doesn't mean anything. That person could be lying. OG, oh man, I can't. Oh no, not at all.
But I mean, how long these sisters been doing this? They're 27 and 28.
I mean,
they've been doing this since they was kids.
You look at the situation. The mother is being at least somewhat more rational than the child. The child is completely off the wall. The mother's like, whatever, like, yo, this is crazy. Like, I wouldn't do that. Are you fucking kidding me? She's doing that shit, but she's not screaming till that. This little girl's about to go hoarse. She losing her voice for sure.
Oh yeah.
And the mother was never like, yo, chill, calm down. I get you mad. I heard nothing like that.
No, and the little girl ratted out her aunt.
No loyalty, no loyalty.
I mean, this is something she sees all the time when they go out.
Yeah.
And she knows how they do it.
And I said, these are the type of people that you want around me. But then it also says this: you want these people around your child, right? Who do these things. And then on top of that, right? Now your friends got to be like, damn, if shit really go down, I can't do nothing around them because little girl rat me out. God damn. Snitches across the board. Across the board. You said, why would she?
We've seen this before. They bring kids along in hopes that they won't get arrested.
Yeah.
We've seen it on traffic stops. Moms refusing to get a hold, let go of their kids because they're getting arrested. All kind of shit.
That's messed up. Don't say family.
It's true though.
Damn. That's cold. So there was an interesting article that I saw early this morning, and it made me really think about having this conversation when it comes to carry and conceal. Now, I started getting into a little bit of video as the journalist was really explaining what was going on. I have my quibs as about what was. How's it going, OG? What's going on?
I'm doing all right, bro. How y'all just gonna do that lady like that?
Yo, I can't.
Real talk, man. Say, and I'm gonna keep it real with you. That's not a family tradition. Everybody steals, sir.
No, sir. No, not everybody steals.
Yeah, they do.
I don't steal.
It starts when you were a little kid. It's called sharing. You used to take everybody else's. I'm telling you, bro. It's still a form of thieving. You taking somebody else's stuff, possessions that doesn't belong to you. Now let's just get to the story. This woman, again, y'all talk about her bad behavior, which I didn't really see none. I see the little girl got bad behavior, but I mean, look at what she's dealing with, bro.
The little girl. I said the little girl.
Yeah, the little girl is acting like a grown person because of her emotions. Now, her emotions is my mother hasn't did nothing. So if anything, even if she snitched on her aunt, she's still telling the truth. The kids is not going to sit there and lie about some shit like that, bro.
Oh yeah, they are. Yeah,
no, they're not. No, they ain't.
Wait.
No, they ain't.
No. Here's my point. You might have missed that part, OG, but here was my point. I get the fact that she's upset. I get the fact that she's defending her mother. I get the fact that she may even believe that her mother's not the person who stole it. I get all of that. I will grant all of that. My question was not the fact that she was upset. It was how she displayed it.
Again,
she was bucking up, the clap, Oh
That's
my
She
a
God,
fact.
said she was.
little
She
girl.
said she
Oh
was
my,
gonna
oh my,
kill
oh my
somebody.
dead father.
That's a fact.
I'm about to kill somebody,
That's a fact.
nigga.
That's a fact. What we doing here? What we doing? So basically, if somebody, so this is the thing about that. I believe I told y'all this before. You take what you get around you, bro. Your family members act like this, bro. This is what you get. Now, I'm not saying if she was raised around somebody, bro, that was uppity and sophisticated, she probably wouldn't be clapping her hands on that shit, but she'll have a whole different rhetoric, and we'd be saying the same thing, or we wouldn't. Okay,
No.
so that makes them better
No.
because they can have a speech
No,
or talk,
sir,
a
sir, I was very-
no
very
physical.
specific.
Listen to what I'm saying, bro. It ain't no different. I'm not going to sit here and choose on how people reaction, sir. My reaction used to be like that, but I learned how to get myself out of it. I learned how to stop myself from being a nigga and clapping my hands and shit, bro. I learned how to calm myself down. Now,
Did you
again,
get that? You learned how, right?
I learned how, but this is a little kid that's only looking at what she see around her.
So why
So
was
again,
why was her mother not correcting her in the moment, not to make shit worse?
again, bro, because her mother is the same fucking way. Her mother is the same.
And that's who we're ultimately blaming is her mother.
Though.
I understand
mother
that,
was
but
not
again,
acting that
I'm
way.
asking you, why should her mother do anything, bro, when her mother act that motherfucking way too? Just because she didn't display it right there and there, don't mean that little girl haven't seen that shit. Doesn't mean that she haven't. And again, if you're not in the wrong, why would you be acting like that? This little girl don't have comprehension skills to understand that. She's a little fucking girl. She's only repeating what the fuck she see when somebody does something wrong. She's acting out the way that she see people do it. That's how niggas act, bro. Just straight up. But it don't have nothing to do with no family tradition, passing stuff down. It don't have to do with.
Literally has to do with passing stuff down. Behavior.
Was that little girl stunning and brave?
What you mean stunning and brave? Explain.
Was she stunning and brave for the way how she was displaying herself?
I don't get what you're saying. If I'm telling you to explain.
Was that little girl brave for knowing who stole and everything and behaving in the way that she was doing and doing the best that she could and threatening even police officers and such, to say that she was brave and how she was defending her mama and the bad actions, knowing that they are not only her mama, but her auntie are criminals?
Well, the part is she knew her auntie was a criminal. So to me, that gives credence, bro, to where the fact, nigga, you know what stealing is. You didn't go in there and steal nothing. Your mother didn't go in there and steal nothing, but you obviously seen a person that was in there stealing and you told. So to me, you did the right thing. Now, your behavior is something that can be corrected. But a decision mind to know that the difference is between somebody stealing and somebody not stealing is a good thing. Because this little girl recognized, bro, even though she could have kept it to the nigga code, as what y'all saying she is, because she sit there and she snitched. She didn't keep it real. She snitched.
I'm okay with her snitching.
So me too. So my thing is, if she got a cognate mind to do that, bro, and keep her mama out of trouble, bro, it wasn't the part, bro, that her mama. Again, I was with you when you said they didn't catch up with nothing. Just because you with somebody and somebody is stealing doesn't mean that you're a thief. Now, in other words, if you're going somewhere with somebody, you get in a car with them, I can understand to see why they said that, because again, they have this thing in this world, nigga. If they're flocking shit together, shit. If you with this person, then you doing the shit too. But
guilty
again,
by association.
exactly.
Yes.
But a guilty by association doesn't technically mean that I was in there stealing. Just because this dumb motherfucker want to steal doesn't mean that I'm in here stealing. And I'm teaching my kid not to motherfucking steal. So if her auntie want to go in here and steal, bro, that little girl see that shit. But what the thing is, she's doing what her mama doing, not stealing. She wasn't in there stealing. It wasn't like, bro, they caught all three of them where they passing on this shit, as y'all saying, that they passing on thievery, teaching this little girl how to steal. The little girl understands. You see what I'm saying? Like, that don't make sense to me, bro. When all three of them, now we didn't see cases where the mama, daughter, and the granddaughter, they got all caught with this shit. Now I just sat there and said, you know what? They passing that shit down because they basically showing the motherfuckers how to steal. Now, if you're not teaching somebody how to steal, but these little kids can recognize somebody stealing, bro, and they know the difference of not stealing and stealing, that's a citizen, bro. That's what we is. We can look at this and be like, okay, the little girl wasn't thieving. The little girl knows she wasn't thieving, but she knew who her auntie was, and we could tell what type of person her auntie is. But her mama is the question, because we're talking about the behavior that she's letting her daughter display. Her daughter's going to display that. What are you going to do? It's not like, bro, this girl is around people, bro, who don't display that shit. She's only displaying what she thinks she is. And she don't understand that shit yet, bro, because she haven't grown up yet. We haven't gave her the fact to grow up and understand that you don't have to be a nigga and do this nigga talk and slap your hands together, roll your eyes and your neck and your arm and your shoulders.
I hear you. But the words that you used were very important when you said the way what she sees, what she displays, and not grow up yet. I wholeheartedly agree with those things. But who's the person that's supposed to make sure that she is on the path, that she's not having nigga moments? It was the woman that was standing there next to her, not far from her.
You know, when y'all had that nigga moment talk, everybody has a nigga moment. Even white folks have nigga moments, but we ain't gonna go there. It's not a nigga moment. It's just you don't know how to control your anger or whatever you feeling. So you do something stupid by either gestures of the hands, the neck, the body, or whatnot. Everybody does it. And see, you can't say everybody does it. It ain't not one person. It ain't not one social group in this world. I ain't trying to be funny, bro. White, Mexican, whatever, bro, that don't have no, what you want to call nigga moment. All of them have it. We didn't watch videos on it. Everybody have it. They trip the fuck out. So if you want to call a woman at the goddamn Victoria's Secret on last Saturday, when she flipped the fuck out, start screaming out the back of her lungs, that's a nigga moment, sir. It's just, they just look at it as white. Oh, she's okay. She break down. She having a fucking panic attack because a black person said they was gonna pop in her mouth. She flipped out. Oh my God, she hit me. What is that? What is that? Oh, it's just them expressing themselves, huh?
I didn't see it, but I'm hearing you, so I'm trying to envision what's going on.
Everybody has these type of moments, bro, and some of them is more crucial than others. I don't look at it as just a black thing, like niggas just gotta have a nigga moment, bro. Everybody have them.
Here's the point that I'm making, OG. People definitely are, and especially because she's a child, have a way that they need to figure out to express themselves. I'm not taking that away from anything. But how you conduct yourself based on the fact that she's been around people who are like that, right? Which means that this is not the first time she's done it. And there was no corrective action to place her in the proper way of doing so. Because as parents, right? As a person, not even, I want to say a parent, as a guardian, there's a way to how to display yourself. Because I even say it myself. Even if I ever got out of hand, and I've seen this from plenty of parents as well, or guardians, there is a certain way that children should never be displaying themselves. And that kind of stuff should have been put into place a long time ago. I have gotten upset, especially even as a child. I have never displayed myself in such a way like that. And again, a threatening, killing, things like that, not acceptable, not okay. At all. Even if it wasn't the cops, to other adults, not okay.
No, I can agree with that.
Not at all.
Telling somebody, bro, you gonna kill him and all that shit, bro. Like I said, I'm just saying, the form of rhetoric.
Pull my Beretta out.
Hey, I'm just saying, the rhetoric, bro. It's the same I see from motherfuckers, bro, who's not taught right. That's cool. You want to say that. You want to say the woman didn't teach her daughter stuff. That's cool, bro. But until I see this woman display or teach down to the shit that she's doing, her daughter is doing what the fuck she gonna do now. Correction of that shit, yeah, she needs a lot of correction because again, a little girl shouldn't be doing that. And I even said in the chat, this is a grown ass person in that little kid's body, which is the craziest thing ever because the kids shouldn't be acting like that. That was the point I was making. So I agree with that. I'm just saying off top, that police and shit on the side of the motherfucking sidewalk, motherfuckers coming by pointing fingers and giving people thumbs up and telling people, you know what I'm saying? Oh, that's it. Well, that's association shit. Again, I'm still stuck on what you stuck on. If you caught her stealing, then she need to go to jail. But if you didn't catch nothing on her, them cameras don't have her stealing. Just because she's with this person doesn't make her a thief. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just saying that I listen, I see your point. It's a point that I have made, but I also will consider the point that's being made by Mayo, because quite frankly, Mayo's not wrong. We have practices that were put into place. but we've had bad behavior and things that were typically not socially acceptable to then be fall by the wayside, which actually led us to a situation like this. Because even things that were considered as petty as stealing is whatever they stole, even if it was glasses or whatever. There was a time where if you walked out with something that you forgot to pay for, you walked your ass back inside and say, "Hey, I forgot to pay for these. Either I can leave them here or I can ring them up real quick." They wouldn't just be like, "Well, I'm gonna take the chance to run off with it," knowing that you could have cops running up on you.
Gotcha.
Versus now, it's the intention to try to get away with as much shit as you can free.
I can see that.
Different.
Now check this out.
Mhm.
Association, and this is just my thinking. I look at the cameras. I never see anything that y'all was talking about. Putting something in somebody else's purse. Just say you seen two people walk in. Now, association to me will be this person standing and giving person signs or just looking at the store. That'll be association. When you go and do something at a store like that, you have a lookout. That makes you association. But if a person is blind to the fact of what another person is doing, I don't see that in association. So, if you're in the progress of helping somebody with the theft or the stealing of something from a store, then yes, you should be arrested. Mm-hmm. But if you're not doing any of that and they can't prove any of that, because like I say, most of the stuff is lookable, bro. You could tell the people going there to go con places. They know this shit, bro. It's been, like you said, it's been plenty of years of investigation of different type of people doing this shit, different crimes, and a lot of them. So I mean, it's easy to tell that this person is watching out for them. They're gonna come and get you, this and that. I can understand that. But if you don't have none of that and the person is telling you, "Hey, I ain't got nothing to do with that," then your investigation should stop right then and there. Arrest the person that got caught.
What if you have other people saying different?
I don't believe in what other people say, because again,
we don't believe in witnesses.
You wouldn't believe what the store said, or what they have on camera. You wouldn't believe
that. Finish. Let me let you finish. Ask me the question.
Would you believe in a witness that observed it, that worked for the store?
Yeah, if that person was liable and they was right about what they were saying, we had no problem. That camera, transparency, and the camera show exactly what they saying. Yeah, I believe what the hell they saying. That's a part of the investigation, Mayo. Why would I not believe them if it's the same thing?
So the manager driving by and pointing her out.
But again,
as being,
go ahead, say what you want to say.
As being part of the theft.
Can I respond?
Yeah, I'm just
okay. Same thing as we had the other day, and I'm gonna speak on this one before I speak on the one we talked about the other day. The one on this one was a manager picked out somebody. Again, you have the person that was stealing. If the other person was stealing, which was the lady with the little girl, and y'all have that on camera, I have no problem with that. But if you don't have it on camera that this woman was stealing, and the person, the manager, who said they were stealing and they wasn't stealing, who you think I'm gonna believe, Mayo? That manager steal, or you think I'm gonna go by that video if I didn't see them put nothing in that purse?
Sure.
If I didn't see.
All right. Number one, OG, you didn't see the whole interaction, and neither did we.
I understand that.
But the description of both women is given in the radio calls.
I understand that.
The cop says to the little girl that the manager has drove by and identified your mother.
All that. I didn't look at no article. I'm only going by what I seen and what I seen.
I'm just going by the.
I'm telling you based on what I've gathered so far from everything so far. Because I will say that if it was based on what I saw in the video, you only got a description of one person. Looking at the article or whatever, it doesn't give a description of two people, so it gives a little bit more context, right? So that means they were both implicated.
And I'll bet if we listen to the radio conversations, we're going to hear the other description too.
All right. So if they were both implicated by the store manager, again, we don't see that in the video because that was originally what I was going off of, OG.
Exactly.
But in the actual article, both people with the little girl is also implicated. That's the context we don't see from the video versus what's written in the article. That's the point that Mayo was making. So you're right. Mayo also does have a point in this.
But again,
and the store manager being the actual person who calls it in and is the actual witness to point them out kind of gives some credence to the situation.
Gotcha. So again, doesn't that give credence to if somebody say Resla and Dustin walked inside the store just giving two different names. Just gonna say like Justin, Austin, Boston. We're gonna use somewhere up in there because I want to make sure it's different from what you're doing. So if one of these people walk in there with you, or a group of people walk in there and they steal, so Austin didn't steal nothing, Justin didn't steal nothing, but Dustin stole something, and Boston stole something. Resla didn't steal nothing, but they seen all y'all walk in at the same time, right? And they see that y'all chatting, y'all friendly with each other and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? You might have gave them some money or something because you bought your item, but you gave somebody else some money to buy their item, but they see somebody in there stealing. If that manager see that, we're going to say what? All of them was together.
Well, I know exactly where
came in as a group. So we're going to search. We're going to make sure that nobody around here. We need y'all to empty out all your pockets, and not just we seeing you still. We need to make sure we got your receipt for yours. So you Resla got his receipt. Dustin got his receipt. Boston ain't got no receipt. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, bro. That's what happened. Straight up. And I get what you're saying about that, because that story it didn't never say that they caught her with merchandise. They know who they got stealing. But they never said one time in that whole thing that you and Mayo was reading, not one time that I heard that the woman with the little girl.
She was charged with possession of stolen, not the little girl. The mother was charged with possession of stolen property. So was the aunt.
When they literally didn't find nothing on her.
We didn't see them find anything because, number one, we didn't see the whole interaction. They've already searched her bags by the time the video even starts.
They searched her bags before the video even started.
Yes.
They searched it. Well, you can see a part where you can see a time frame in the videos where they searched it and everything was already out on the pavement. That means they already went through it, Mayo, and they didn't find what they were looking for.
They didn't find sunglasses, but it doesn't mean they didn't find something else.
Well, again, this is why I asked the question, were there any other articles that were considered to be stolen that were found?
She was charged with
possession. So far, we know about the glasses.
We know she was charged with possession of stolen goods. And they wouldn't have charged her. They wouldn't have charged her with that if she didn't have something on her.
They would, but wouldn't they if they considered them to be working as a team?
No, yes, because she wasn't. No, because she wasn't in possession.
This was my point that I made. So she shouldn't be looked at as
but that would lead to the petite theft charge, but not the possession of stolen goods charge.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, but like I said, it's been touch and go for a long time. If these are new, not new, but if these are laws that are being put back to where they need to be, then I see what you're saying. But
there's articles about Alvin Bragg rolling a lot of that retail theft stuff back from the political pressure he's getting.
Because OG, if this was back in the days where we would hold a lot of that stuff, then I would definitely see and concede to Mayo's point as to why they would still be under petty. Because right now, that's not something. Well, I'm gonna say right now. Back when I was doing retail, that was something that we just couldn't really hold on to. We can only go after the person who had the actual merchandise that were on them. But if they're really going back to even holding petty, even if you can do it under a team theft, because quite frankly, a lot of people are stealing in teams. It's not really singular anymore.
So then all of them. If you get in the car with somebody, bro, and they steal a motherfucking vehicle, bro, it's accessory, but nigga still gonna get charged, nigga, for stealing the motherfucking car. I might be wrong. So you're just gonna be a person who got in the car. Huh?
I don't know about.
It's the driver. It's typically the driver that gets charged.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we've seen it plenty of times in these chases when they crash out. All they do is arrest the driver. Because the passenger has really nothing to do with it. They can't prove the passenger is in possession of anything.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna find that video because I swear we looked at one and both of them niggas and both of them young niggas, bro, got charged for stealing the motherfucking car. I think he wrecked out. It's like 2 people died or some shit, and we watched them niggas go to. They talked about it on the news. They ran into a pole or some shit. It was like 2 girls, 2 boys in a motherfucking car.
But it's different.
Stolen vehicle. Hell yeah, they both and murder, nigga.
But it's
let me ask the question.
different. If they both carjack the car, that's different. Just being in the car isn't a crime.
Because one could be charged for theft, and the other one could be charged for joyriding.
Well, like I said,
I guarantee there's that car was like actively stolen off of a person by two people in that situation. I damn near guarantee that.
I don't know. Like I said, I just remember looking at it. I thought they can do that. So I mean, that's why I'm saying. Basically, telling me they can't. They only going to charge one, whoever's driving the car. Then the other person's not going to get charged. They're going to get just joyriding, I guess. So, yeah, that.
Well, if they got charged with theft, they know they stole it. If they get charged with joyriding, they don't know that person stole it, and they have no evidence of it.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That shit don't be making no sense to me, bro. That's why I say when I look at certain shit and I see certain cases and stuff like that, everything is different. They case by case, and they do what they want to do with these cases, case by case. You know what I'm saying? One person might see it, might have a witness to something, but again, it's when they go and do their evidence, when they go do their investigation, they find out that person might not be right about everything. Might be right on one part, but wrong on another part. You see what I'm saying? That's why I said it.
But don't you think the people that charge them actually probably know more than we do about the cases?
Like, I don't know if they do a thorough investigation, but that's the part they fuck up when an investigation is not done. And then they come to find out that they was wrong on some of the stuff that they do. That's why I'm always going for making sure this shit is thoroughly done. Like, make sure you hear both motherfucking sides. Make sure you understand what's going on. Make sure the transparency is there. If you ain't got no video, it's he say, she say. I get that. But when you got some type of videos there, bro, and all that stuff, you can go back and transparency is a motherfucker. Accountability is a beast. It will hold people, and it don't matter how you want to see it. It always shows you what the hell you done done. So, like I say, even somebody going inside of the store. You don't think
that's being done for the most part?
I mean, bro, from
do you think that in 90% of the cases
that there's no thorough investigation?
I'm gonna put it to you like this: the investigation that I see, Mayo, and I'm just gonna be straight up honest with you, is in this case. You see somebody going, you see 2 or 3 people go inside of a store, one person get arrested for thievery, all the motherfuckers get arrested for thievery. Association, they don't give a fuck. They're gonna take all y'all niggas to jail.
That's not what happened though. That's your assumption.
Because on what, Mayo? First of all, stop. Let me make sure we on the same page.
On an edited partial video. On an edited partial video.
Okay. We didn't even go that far. But next time I want you to listen to what I'm saying. I wasn't even explaining about that video with that woman and that little girl and her sister. I was talking about something personal. When you go inside of a store, what I seen in my life, if I see somebody stealing out of a store, if you walk in that motherfucker with them, bro, and they say that person in that store say they stole, guess what happens? All of them go to jail, sir. But you just told me that doesn't happen. And I didn't seen it in real life at a regular corner store, sir. Just because 3 little niggas walk inside of the store.
You went to jail.
Not me.
Somebody's.
I looked at these 3 niggas come inside of a store. I seen them walk over there, steal some shit. At least 2 of them. The third nigga didn't steal nothing, but he was in there with them. They came in there. You know what them young niggas did? They try to run and all type of shit. Police caught them right outside the store. Not even 2 minutes away from the store. Just caught them niggas, all 3 of them, right? Didn't have nothing on them, but they came back to the store and that woman asked, what happened? All 3 of them stole. They know they took all them niggas. But you just sat here and told me that didn't happen. And I know other cases.
No, sir. You had mentioned the video we just watched. That's why I said what I did. Before that, you had mentioned the video we just watched.
Yeah, I was talking about if you're not listening, Mayo.
No, sir, I was listening.
You wasn't. If you was, you would have heard what I said. I don't have to go back just a second time. Come on, man. You got to start listening.
So we're talking. So
play it back, sir.
based on your anecdotal experience, right? What would you say there? Would you say that that is the average that happens with people? That generally it is guilt by association?
No, it's not, but it does happen. That's all I'm saying. Not gonna say it's the majority. It happens all the time. These people is lying on folks. Not saying none of that. Most of the time, it's accurate, bro. Sometimes some people get the shit wrong.
Well, I mean, what?
But do you know if those guys were charged in the end with theft?
I mean, I'm just saying they all got arrested. I don't know about the charging
They
and all that.
could have got arrested for running from police.
True.
That too.
I mean, that's the thing. We're making assumptions off things we don't know.
Oh Lord.
I mean, because people would say, like, no. OG. Let's just say it was the two guys that stole. Necessarily, it wasn't the third kid, right?
Yeah.
If you did nothing wrong, they would say, "Why did you run from the cops?"
Right.
Well, if you're not guilty, why you ran is what people would say.
Right. I get all that.
So it's I don't know. It's interesting.
I hate to say this, bro, but I'm pretty sure I know you was listening to what I just said.
I heard what you said, but which is why I also have to ask the question as to what's probable versus, like, what is considered to be the average. Yes, anything can happen, even one time, and we can say it happens.
Right.
But we have to talk about what's the probability, what's the frequency of something happening, which is why it's very important to make it a truism of something that happened. The majority, or even sometimes, would have to indicate a certain amount of numbers for it to actually happen. But something happening one time can just make it a truth.
Right.
That doesn't mean that the frequency of it is something that's experienced by many. So that's why
I get all that. Yeah. Right. And that's why I answered the way I answered it. Because, like I said, I wasn't trying to go against that. But I want you to check this out. You know how much I just gave you? And Mayo, check this out too. That story I just told y'all, it was so true. I can go back on it, bro, and just tell you this one more again. I gave you one inkling that the police officers, after they caught these niggas down the street, guess what I was still inside the store? Pretty sure you could have just interpreted that, because I said that they came back and asked the woman inside the store, was these the three? And she said, yeah. And they said they just took them all. But you just made a reference that she might not do that. They might have just got arrested because the police was chasing them. If the police wanted to just arrest them because they was chasing them, they would have never brought them back to the store and asked that lady in front of me after I was trying to get my cigarettes.
That guy didn't steal?
What? I'm watching them, Mayo. I'm looking at the young niggas inside the store. She blatantly see these niggas. She the one that called the police. It was so lucky that the police was probably that close to pull up on the store. Before they got out the store, I'm telling you, they started running. The police was went on and got them. Brought them right back
together
and came right back to their store with all three of them. I didn't say nothing. I just sat there, listened to the whole thing, trying to get me some goddamn Newports and cigars. Excuse me, ma'am.
But were they working together?
Mayo.
I'm asking you a question about the situation, because you were there and you saw it with your own eyes.
Did it look like they was working together? Yeah, they was working together, Mayo. Yeah, they was working together.
So that third guy was involved in the theft. God damn, OG. Come on, man.
Yeah, bro. Damn. They was working together. Three niggas go inside of a motherfucking store, and I'm seeing little niggas put shit in their pockets. Not telling who put what in their pocket, but I can literally tell that one person ain't stealing nothing, because he's sitting here, bro, ain't walking down the same aisle as these other niggas. He's doing something way different. So when they get ready to walk out the store, and I'm already seeing the woman that already called the police on the young niggas because she don't want to come from behind. This is a story that got.
I have a question, OG. I have a question given that situation. So this woman, she called the cops on these three boys, right? Who were picked up very quickly. I'm listening to you, right? You're a witness in all this situation. Being the fact that you are, in fact, a witness of what's going on, did you tell the cop that actually it was only these two, it wasn't this third one?
Nope.
Why not?
Why should have? When I never got asked it, no nothing. I was in there to get some cigarettes and some cigars and get the hell out.
So again, you're okay with the innocent being caught up in things,
bro? They ain't got nothing to do with me. I went with them young niggas. Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah.
All right. It's like, All right.
I'm just saying, and just to
Case
say
in
that,
point.
that's
Girl
how I know
came
shit
in and
happens.
getting caught up.
That's how I know shit happens, bro. Because niggas like that, because the stories like that, bro. And when that shit happened, bro, yeah, it's some people just like me, bro, that's not gonna say nothing because the nigga should have never been with no two thieving ass niggas. Now, eventually, the story is gonna come out when they, like when you said, Mayo, when they take them inside that whatever they go talk to them, yeah, bro. Then they gonna tell nigga who stole what, who did what. I didn't steal nothing and all that shit there. So yeah, but I just know what happened, and I'm just saying with somebody, I just gave that story because I seen that woman sit there and say all three of them were stealing, and I can just be like, you know what? I know two of them were stealing, but I didn't see this other nigga steal nothing. But I never was asked that. Only thing I seen was that woman getting asked that. By the time she was getting asked that, bro, I was on my way out the door. I got inside my car, pumped my gas. And by the time all that happened, guess what? Them young niggas was coming out there in them handcuffs, getting put in that goddamn car. So, I ain't saying like they was, you know what I'm saying, 14, 15, 16, you know what I'm saying? They grown, but they still young, you know what I'm saying? They younger than me.
I hear you because quite frankly, the same way how you have a story like that, I have a story like that as well. I've known plenty of people who done shit, dealers and everything. And literally for me just saying what's up, giving them daps, everything like that. What happened? Got hit on the block. Everybody's scrambling. We all thrown to the ground, all kind of stuff like that. I got picked up in a whole sweep up on the block. Got brought to the precinct and everything. If it wasn't for one woman, one old woman that was out there being nosy on fire escape, she literally went to the precinct and was like, "This guy here," she fingered me and one other guy said they weren't the ones who actually did it. And that was the only time I was let go. That was the first time I ever got bracelets put on me. Why? Because I happen to know them. Association, right? But there was someone who witnessed it. No one asked her shit and said it wasn't him. Didn't say I was a good boy or anything. He just came up. Yes, he knows who they are, but he wasn't there. It wasn't him. You just came in, he managed to be there, and you slammed him down and everything else. My shirt was dirty and everything. But she managed to walk her little ass over there and still managed to finger me and one other guy and said it wasn't them. So that's why I asked you.
And even
I get it, bro. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I just ain't me. That just ain't me. At that time, I'm still was immersed in the streets. You know what I mean? Like, bro, come on now, bro. I was staying real to myself, bro, and real in what I was doing. I wasn't about to just go against what the hell what the creed was because, bro, I wasn't doing all that. Like, again, I was debauchery and I was displaying it. So, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, bro. I can't sugarcoat that shit, bro. I can't make it sound good when I know it was fucked up, bro, the way I was thinking. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the mindset I had, bro. You don't snitch. You don't do certain shit. You don't talk to the police, bro. You know what I'm saying? You did your shit because I know everything I was doing was I probably was up there didn't have a goddamn driver's license, sir. I didn't get my driver's license till later on in my life. See, most people think, oh, you got to go by the rule and all this stuff. Bro, I found that at an early age, bro, doing a lot of stuff I wasn't supposed to do, bro. Money will make this world do things for you. And most people was like, oh, you can't do that. You can't ride around like that. How many you lying? You can't ride for that many years. I mean, from 14, bro, to at least think of 26, bro. Never had a driver's license, dog. You could take my car. 2 days, I go buy another one straight off the lot in a backpack full of money. What you gonna tell me? You think they're not gonna give me a call? If somebody getting on my nerves, you just pay them off. You had watches. It was different. So I was living that debauchery life. So I understand, but I know I can point out, like you just said, when that woman did that, that's a good thing. That woman went involved in the street. She wasn't doing the shit I was doing. So I can understand why she snitched, but I couldn't even do it.
But even then, to charge and hold him, they would have had to have some evidence.
Yeah, that too. But again,
even if she wouldn't have showed up.
That's true. It would have taken just a lot longer.
And that's the thing. But that's part of the investigation.
Yeah, it would have taken longer, but yeah, it would have came inconclusive for me. That's true.
Yeah, I just told you because, like I said, I like to be transparent, bro. Ain't no reason for me to be like, oh no, that ain't right, and be like, nah, bro, that's changing what the hell I was back then. I'm not about to lie about that shit, bro. I just didn't tell on nobody. If I seen some fucked up shit, it was just fucked up, bro. I knew it was fucked up. I was doing fucked up shit. I mean, come on, everybody. You know what I'm saying? I don't have that type of mindset, bro, where I can flip on and flip off like that, like people do on YouTube. That shit crazy to me.
Listen, I hear you, OG, because trust me, back then, believe it or not, I was a person that used to act up because, again, I got caught up with them on the sweep, But it's not like I never did any shit. Like I didn't do shit. I did. Why you think I knew these guys? I did shit. I did work like for them. Like I did shit like that. But when I got hit, I'm just like, I was just like, I didn't do nothing. I was hit. Well, why you coming for me for? Oh, you just gonna come for me because I know homeboy. Like he live in the same building as me. Why wouldn't I not know him? But that's how I got hit. And the only reason is because this woman literally see me come out the train, walk across the street, say what's up, just when these guys was rolling up. That was my only saving grace. It's not like she never saw me with any of them before. But I was also nice to this woman. So she was like, he wasn't there. Unlike these guys who like to sit on the stoop, sit on the corner, and be visible all the time, I always moved in silence. I was there, but I was like a good child. I was never seen. Unless you wanted to see me, I was not seen. That's it.
Makes sense.
That's the way I always move. You need something done. You need someone who's not going to really recognize you. I was your guy. And it that kind of thing held me on for a while. When I tell people some of the things I do in my backstory, they're just like, how the hell did you ever get to work in compliance? How the hell do you ever got to work with cops? And just like, because I ain't got a record. Quite frankly, I managed to get by on a lot of shit. And then I just straightened myself up. That's all. That's all.
Well, that's what they're gonna have to do with that little girl. They're gonna have to straighten her ass up.
Pretty much.
But they're gonna have to start with them though, and they ain't gonna do it.
They're not gonna do it.
She's gonna have to do that herself.
And probably it's only gonna happen when the worst comes. Because obviously she doesn't have any male figures to help her do that.
No, she gonna wind up in bracelets far before she straightens out herself.
Yeah, with that grown rhetoric, she is.
So, and that's part of the issues that I have with just how people move in the city by itself. Because keep in mind, if you don't have to worry about the thieves, then you got to worry about people doing criminal activities. And I was going through something that was happening I was actually looking at the mayor's office, right? Because sometimes I get stuff that's coming through them. And then I saw a video. And I said, that's interesting. So what happened in the video with the mayor, and I can't remember where it was now because I got rid of it. But quite frankly, we have individuals that are in their own situations. It could be a serious situation. But then I might still have it because I saw it earlier today. So let me do a quick browse in my history. Quick look in my history. And he was speaking to Mayor Adams about how he didn't basically get followed up on a particular thing that's happening between him being out in the shelter or whatever. And I guess he ran into an incident where basically he got hit in the face. Actually, now I remember how I saw it. I was doing my own review in the morning. Can I find it? Yes, I can. Hold on. I know exactly how to find it right now. Because my behind actually recorded it. Let's see here. So this was actually, again, guys, I do my own kind of review of stuff. I was reviewing things like this. This is stuff that you don't necessarily see posted. And I'm wondering, like, if I should, when I'm doing my time and I'm just messing around on the back scenes and I'm just doing my research, I wonder if I should just share this time with you guys. This was really early in the morning. And then this is what happened here. This guy. Weird. Okay, so we have something that's happening here from the mayor's office. So, we got to love things that are coming from the mayor's office. Over Eric Adams is coming from Forbes. Ranking. So yeah.
Mr. Adams, I was in this room in June of 2022. After testifying to you in that public hearing, we had a private conversation in a small conference room nearby. You made a remark to me then that you were going to look into my housing. There was no follow-up about that. 15 days ago, I got a punch to my head.
Oh, wait. Is Eric Adams addressing the public? Like one-on-one people with the public? What? So I missed out on a lot of stuff. I just recently started subscribing to the mayor's YouTube page, and now I'm getting notifications. But I didn't even know that Eric Adams would do like these public forums where people who are in the public could actually address grievances. I had no clue whatsoever. So now I actually do want to keep up on a lot of that stuff. I didn't get any notifications about things like this. He's taking on the public? That's wild. Let me go back a little bit. Oh shoot. I haven't seen anyone do that since the early Bloomberg days.
Follow up about that. 15 days ago, I got a punch to my head in a mica shelter. I don't belong in a shelter. We talked about a housing issue back then. There was no follow-up because of that lack of follow-up. That's how my face looked 15 days ago.
Damn,
after
man.
getting a punch. So the question is, when people come to your public meetings, you make statements to them. There's no follow-up. There are huge repercussions. I currently have a lawsuit against your administration, one being assigned to the New York State Supreme Court in Manhattan, assigned to New York State Supreme Court Judge Lyle Frank. I also have a pending petition for writ of certiorari to submit to the U.S. Supreme Court by the end of next month. And so guess what I'm going to tell them? I'm going to tell them that while I have pending litigation against your administration, I'm being punched in the head, having to go to an emergency room. So basically, my point is First Amendment retaliation in response to protected First Amendment activity after having a conversation with you, in which essentially you lie straight to my face. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
That's
Thank
insane.
you.
First of all, I don't even know if he got punched in the head while in the shelter. It could have been in the street.
Well, how is he going to connect Adams to this?
Right.
Random attack by probably another crazy person.
And I haven't seen
and
the video.
I'll tell you why he keeps falling to the bottom of the housing list. He's a single dude.
True.
Families get priority.
That's correct. He's absolutely correct on that one.
That's how he's fallen to the bottom of the list.
This is going to be very interesting.
This ain't magic. And, yeah, but this lawsuit ain't going nowhere.
Oh no, I absolutely don't believe, especially because what happens later. I haven't seen. It's weird reacting to something I haven't seen myself actually record yet, so it's just a little weird. Okay, so before he mentions anything, can I just state that he said he had a conversation with Eric Adams. I don't know when he had this personal, private conversation with Eric Adams, right? But he's stating that basically he's had a conversation with the mayor, and then I'm trying to hear it. I want to hear it again as to what he was saying, because I think he was saying he was either in a shelter or something about housing, whatever the case may be. He got hit in the face, and then he showed the pictures. I want to go through it. I'm gonna go through it one more time. So he's got some young people, by the way, that's working with him. I mean, good for the mayor's office, but I need to hear what this guy said one more time.
Is that Tawaki Kamaso? Okay, so yours.
Okay. Mr. Adams, I was in this room in June of 2022. After testifying to you in that public hearing, we had a private conversation in a small conference room nearby. You made a remark to me then that you were going to look into my house.
So he did have a private he states that he did have a private conversation with Mayor Adams after one of the last conferences that he was basically in with him. So, okay, if you really said that, because I would look at that. First of all, if you have let's just say if I'm working in any particular division, with risk, marketing, HR kind of thing, whatever. If I have literally a private conversation with you, one of the things that I do is that I make sure that I write an email to you. I guess that Eric Adams is a lot more busy than I ever did in the business. So I would have someone from my staff reach out to you, but I will always have somebody who's there to ensure that we did a personal follow-up on you, because you were the one who I specifically had a conversation with. So I would ensure that basically I make sure I got back to you because of situations like this. I would not want to fall between the cracks that I literally had a conversation face to face with someone and I did not try to deliver some sort of result. If I just ignored them, blew them off, whatever, it just looks terrible um on my side of just being professional. So if that's what happened when it came to Eric Adams, Mayor Eric Adams, then that's not good.
There was no follow-up about that. 15 days ago, I got a punch to my head in a MICA shelter. I don't belong in a shelter. We talked about a housing issue back then. There was no follow-up because of that lack of follow-up. That's how my face looked 15 days ago after getting a punch.
You got a lot of pages.
So the question is, when people come to your public meetings, you make statements to them. There's no follow-up. There are huge repercussions. I currently have a lawsuit against you.
By the way, I want to state the fact that he is in a shelter. By the way, another issue that you guys know I'm about to touch on: people being homeless here in New York. The guy's in the shelter. The guy had first of all, shout out. Okay, so here was the thing that I'm remembering this. I remember something that I said in the morning. Here's where he kind of screwed up on it. So he was pretty much saying that he wanted to sue the mayor's administration because he apparently got attacked 15 days ago from when he's doing this particular conference. But then there was something that even when Mayor Adams started speaking, I was like, God damn it, he's absolutely right.
Assigned to the New York State Supreme Court in Manhattan, assigned to New York State Supreme.
But he's saying it's in retaliation.
Correct. For something that we don't even know that happened in the shelter at all. He could have just been in the street. The fact that you're in a shelter and the fact that you just got attacked in general has nothing to do with the fact that the mayor, who's also a busy person, did not follow up with you yet. It could have been the day after. It could have been whatever. It could have been in the week. We don't know really from when you spoke
yeah,
to
we
him.
do. We know it was in 2002. We know this is 2024.
Well, yeah, okay. Yeah. So he was, I will say, took a long time. That took a long time, and you haven't responded to him. So yeah. But the fact that he got attacked, I don't see that. I don't see the correlation in that unless he's trying to say that, well, the reason because you never followed up to me, because you never followed back with me is the reason why I am still in the situation of being in the shelter, like him speaking to the mayor and the follow-up would get him out the shelter. But and that's because of that, the conclusion is I was still in a position where I got attacked, which there's no correlation.
It doesn't. It sounds like
he's reaching.
He's talking about retaliation.
Yep.
For talking to the mayor. That's what it sounds like he's trying to point out.
You know what? I did not consider that angle. So he said he got set up. Because I spoke to the mayor personally. He had somebody run up and hit him.
Listen to what he said. Listen to how he says it.
No, I'm thinking about it now. Like I did not look at that angle, but okay. All right. You're right.
That's how he's putting it off.
I also have a pending petition for writ of certiorari to submit to the U.S. Supreme Court by the end of next month. And so guess what I'm going to tell them? I'm going to tell them that while I have pending litigation against your administration, I'm being punched in the head.
Yeah, there you go. There goes the strong case for that. Yeah, you're right.
To go to an emergency room. So basically, my point is First Amendment retaliation in response to protected First Amendment activity after having a conversation with you, in which essentially you lie straight to my face. Have a nice day.
Yeah, thank you. And first, no one should be assaulted. And really sorry to hear what happened to you. And as you indicated, you don't belong in a homeless shelter. No one belongs in a homeless shelter. Every New York should have the right to housing. And the reason we.
Wait, what happened?
Every New Yorker doesn't have a right to housing, or shouldn't have the right to housing, because housing isn't a right.
That's correct. I think that we should have enough for everybody to be able to afford to get a place, but not everybody should have the right to housing. You don't just show up and just get a house. You work to keep that. You work to have that. That's just the way we do things.
Could not continue without.
Are we really going? We're not going to touch on that, guys. You know how I feel about this. We're not going to touch about this today.
Yeah. I just
not go touching this.
A conversation.
This is such a reach for him. Like, this is retaliation for a fucking conversation we had 2 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. So one of the things that Eric Adams said, and I had to agree with him, is that he said essentially what he's saying is that it's kind of your fault. It's your fault why we couldn't reach out to you. This basis, he's right. He's right. If you are trying to sue under litigation, there's no reason for them to reach out to you because anything they say could be incriminating themselves. He's right. I work with legal enough time to say that when somebody starts suing, you keep your goddamn mouth shut and you let the professionals handle it. Do not say shit. Do not make any particular conversation. Do not contact. Do not have any sort of words whatsoever. He is absolutely right. We practice it. That's what we say during times of litigation. Well played. So the man did it to himself. You're talking about how, oh, it's retaliation. Basically, I got attacked because you didn't want to reach out to me. He couldn't reach out to you. He couldn't if he wanted to. You literally
got a lawsuit against him.
You put a gag order on him, essentially. Like, he cannot talk to you because him speaking to you was considered a liability. You would only have to go through other parties. And who knows when they're going to get back to you if you're already stating it took this long for you to get back in his face. But keep in mind, from the distance of when you had that conversation with him to 15 days prior to you having that particular talk at that conference, that was a large amount of time that anything could have happened to you. Are you going to tell me that suddenly it's retaliation from the years you spoke to him? So that particular time now, 15 days prior, that's the retaliation point. It just took that long for him to get hands on you. Come on. But it also brings up a conversation of saying, well, first of all, looking at him, I don't think he has any hands to be able to protect himself. I'm just saying that. But when I think about the levels of that we see in the street, or the crime and things that we see in the street, I was saying this early in the beginning of the stream, was basically about people being able to protect themselves. Whether you look at people in Europe and they have a whole bunch of knife stabbings and things like that. Well, they got gun issues too, but most of it is like stabbings. People need to be able to protect themselves across the board. Because I was remembering a lot of the different stuff that even we see on X, of all the stupidness and people getting shot up, trying to rob, all these different things. And I think if people were able to protect themselves, we would probably have the little amount of, or we would have a lesser amount of people being stuck up or being robbed, because you just don't know who the people who have weapons and those who don't. And that's just the way how I look at it. What do you think about that?
Criminals' number one fear, and this is research done by the DOJ to convicted criminals, is running into an armed citizen. That is their number one.
It makes sense. It makes sense. Most people are not even concerned about barging into someone else's house because the chances of them actually having a firearm is still low.
Oh, and especially in New York City.
Yeah, it's very, very low. These people who run up behind people and get into their house or whatever, they don't expect the people to have it. These people who kick in doors and just run up in there, they don't expect people to be harmed. You're more likely running into a place where someone might have a dog, and the dog is not even going to be at a big size. Never mind trained.
At most, they're going to have a baseball bat, but you already have a gun.
Right. So that's typically I would say the average situation in New York would actually be like. But so part of the thing that happened here was, and this is what got my attention, was a journalist who actually does a lot for NYPD, and he ran into a situation where he actually has a carry permit. And I was like, oh shit, time to have a conversation about this one, because I thought it was very interesting. Hopefully I got the wrong screen. No, I do have the right screen. You just move this over then. Here we go.
A New York City concealed gun owner arrested at a police funeral. We spoke to Hakeem Gibson, the photojournalist behind the Perception of Law Enforcement Instagram page, and he explained to us exactly what happened.
He actually came up to me and started yelling at me. What are you doing? And I'm like, Joey, what do you mean, what am I doing? And he starts yelling at me in front of the lieutenant and said, you don't have a permit for that. And I'm like, Joey, what are you talking about? I don't have a permit for it. You know that I have a permit because I told you a week in advance that I had a New York City concealed carry permit. Holds me by the shoulder and rips the gun from out of my waist. Gives it to the Nassau County officers, then places me in cuffs. I get put seated in the back of Nassau County RMP, and I didn't even know the severity of it. All of a sudden, I look to my left. There comes the SWAT team, like what you would see in a movie, with one guy hanging off, with guys hanging off on both sides for a so-called man with a gun. Radios are blowing up.
You were arrested.
So two things. Number one, this guy has basically made his living off of essentially making police officers look good. He's been like managing like their image, like on Instagram pages, and taking shots of them, whatever. He's a photographer. He goes out of his way to go get a carry conceal permit, but then he turns around and once he gets it, he pretty much went to a police funeral. Okay,
all right.
But he has his carry conceal on him. Now, before you go, Mayor, I do want to say something about the comment that CCD put up. So you said maybe, but everyone around me has guns, and we still have basically a break in crime. Now, I'm not saying that you wouldn't have instances where crime would still take place. The idea is that you would lessen crime because you would put it in people's minds that you don't know what you don't know, rather than like here it is in New York. Pretty much everybody's weighing the odds and saying that running across someone who would not have a gun is high, rather than if you don't know because you're in a state where it's more preferable for you to carry, or you can carry if you want to, the likelihood of you running into someone who do have a gun, you're less likely to be an idiot and try to rob them because you just don't know if this might be the motherfucker that takes me down, versus like the odds are in your favor in New York City. So that's the point that I'm making, CCD. Yeah. You were saying, Mayo?
It's the 50% chance versus the 5% chance.
Correct.
And the thing with this, right? What I want to know, he was arrested in Long Island.
Yes.
All right. Now, he said specifically he has a New York City carry permit.
Good point. Good point. You're right. You're Long Island.
Yep. Would that cover Long Island?
Not necessarily.
That's why he was arrested.
Yeah.
New York's messed up like that, because even if you have a New York State carry permit, you can't carry in New York City.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
And this is the problem with this is the problem with New York carry laws, because each city can have their own.
I think if you get your permit, it should be with the state, and you should just be able to ring it.
And you should be able to carry everywhere in the state.
I agree. That I believe that should be the case. I don't even know if anyone really explained that to him, so we're just having whatever thoughts of the journalist that talked to him.
Correct.
And you are a legal concealed carry weapon holder. You were arrested at Detective Jonathan Diller's funeral.
Correct.
Tell me about that.
Okay,
There's other issues with that too. So
I've actually.
Tell me.
You at public gatherings in a lot of states, you cannot be carrying.
Yeah.
That's
one of my concerns.
The rules vary so much by state.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm for the classes, so rather than just constitutional carry.
Which is funny because he said he went to class. Well, I think he just went to class to try to get his permit. I don't know if they explain those kind of stuff when you're taking those classes.
They're supposed to. That's what those classes are all about.
Which means that he then knows. He should know. I don't know what he got.
Either that, or since he just got his New York City permit,
mm-hmm.
he might not have gotten Nassau County's rules. He just got New York City's.
Well, I think that would be a general staple across the board. It shouldn't be something that only happens in particular counties.
But the problem is, in New York State, each municipality can make their own rules.
True.
Like in Kansas, it's specifically put in the Kansas carry law that cities cannot make their own rules, adding to the law.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah, like I said, I don't know if he was aware of that. I think that
sadly, probably not.
Well, I think also if he was, I think it's also a failing on his part of the fact that if he had a permit, you work with NYPD. You know, I'm not saying you work for NYPD, but you work with NYPD. Why wouldn't you ask them if it's okay for you to bring your carry with you? Somebody would have told you. I figured somebody would have told you. So I don't think I think he just figured that it was okay and he just ran with it. That's my thought, at least. I don't know what you'll say about that.
Applied for my concealed carry in October 27, took classes. They did the background check, and surprisingly, I thought it would have taken a year, but within a matter of months, I actually got the approval letter. Got the approval letter early March, and I actually got the permit assigned to me on the 25th of March, which was on Monday. Crazy thing is I had the permit for only literally 5 days, and that was it. I had the permit from March 25th. I picked up the firearms on the 26th, and on.
First of all, I don't know why it was so easy for him to get a permit. It normally takes a long time. He said he got it quickly, but he only had it for 5 days, and he was willing to risk it.
But that's because, see, that's the problem with and that's one of the reasons they got taken to court, is because they would issue to famous people, but they wouldn't issue to the diamond dealers down in the jewelry district who are carrying hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of merchandise to their cars every day.
Yeah.
But if you knew the mayor,
you could get it.
They just signed it right there in the station.
Well, here's the funny part about what we're saying this as well, right? So, because there's a question that popped in my mind, and it was a different conversation, but I had with somebody. We were having this talk. When we were talking about carry, right? And this is when Eric Adams started. I'm surprised I'm remembering this right now, but it was a whole. Because I was talking to someone who's a former cop, and he says he's not working for NYPD anymore, right? Technically, he's got a gun the same way how people who are retired, they get to keep their gun.
Yeah, that's a federal thing.
As a former cop, but now the mayor, should he be using concealed carry? Why do you need to have concealed carry? Was the question that we had in the group, and I had a person who's a former cop, and he said, yeah, you absolutely should be able to have your firearm, which sparked a little bit of conversation in that, and it made me wonder about it. I didn't really go into deep depth because I got busy and I kind of walked out the office. But it makes me wonder, like, if you are the mayor and you're no longer a cop, should you be able to keep your firearm? Not just keep your firearm, but be able to walk around. Say you're going to go do a conference or whatever. Should you be able to keep your firearm as a mayor?
Well, that actually came off of a federal law that I think either Reagan or Bush Sr. passed. That if you have like 16 years as a cop and are retired, you get to carry.
Really now?
Yep, and that's country. That was countrywide.
Why is it? I don't know that.
Because you're in an anti-gun city, and you're in a place where not a whole lot of people know guns.
But I figured that would be something I would know. Like, that's something that should be taught, that I would remember. I didn't know that.
Yeah, but if you weren't alive,
that's new info. Huh. Yeah, I did not know, especially if you're talking about like 16 years or so. Like, you get to. Yeah, I did not know that at all. At all. Yeah, because it raised a question that I never even got the answer for. Like, if you're the mayor and because at the same time, who really thought that we would have a mayor who was actually a former cop? Like that's still new. That's new. We never really had that before. But the idea that he could be able to carry going anywhere is interesting. It's interesting. I mean, it's one thing to say if you're a marshal, you have your badge, whatever. You go into places that say no firearms, but you have your badge because you're active. But as a mayor, let's just say he walks into a place that technically says no firearms. Is he still allowed to walk in there? Because quite frankly, he's earned the right to keep his firearm. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It was from July 2004, and it was George W. Bush. And it's called the Law Enforcement Officer Safety Act.
Yeah, I did not know that. I didn't know that. Okay.
So what all does that entail, Mayo?
If you're a retired cop, you can carry your gun after
you can carry your gun. And that means not restricted, not like to your home.
Not restricted by state or nothing. It's federal. Yeah.
That's interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Damn. Maybe I should have went to be a cop when they told me this.
And that's for all forms of policing, like even if you.
Yes, sir. Local
like
to federal.
Yeah.
Local to federal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
I did not know that. That's crazy. All right. Let's see.
And that's also that was also passed to kind of curtail states that didn't have concealed carry from bringing it up. You know, more good guys with guns out there now that all the retired cops are carrying. So.
Bullshit, but still.
Oh yeah, I know.
It's not enough.
But yeah, it didn't work very well because after that, concealed carry exploded throughout the country.
All right. Cool. Listen. I just wish that if you really drop that, I just really wish it would still be a lot easier for people to be able to protect themselves.
I mean, it is in most states.
Yeah. No,
I think half the states now have constitutional carry. Almost. I think
I don't know what it would take. Now. I don't know what it would take for something like that to happen in New York. Because even if you're outside of New York and you come to move into New York, you transferring over, all your permits or things would be probably a big hassle, a large hassle.
Oh, it's a nightmare. It's even a nightmare transferring guns out of the state.
Yeah.
Because I found that out when a friend of mine up there died.
All right, let's find out what he was saying, since he has his own issues when it comes to carrying.
Saturday, the day of Jonathan Dilla's funeral, was the day that I completely lost everything.
Why does somebody need a concealed carry a weapon or pistol in New York City?
For self-defense, I'm a firm believer that everyone, as long as you are mentally fit and you have no criminal background, should have the rights to defend themselves. In my personal opinion, I'm a firm believer that the police, as much as there's 30,000 cops or 35,000 cops in New York City, all right, they can't all be there at once. All right. You're walking down the street, Georgia Avenue in East New York, or, Herkimer Street in Bed-Stuy. I get it. You do have police around, but they can't be there all at once, and they cannot be there with it. All right. It's not a guarantee that they're going to be there within that time period of, something happening to you. I'm a firm believer that not only the police aren't the only ones that should have guns, especially with these politicians and everything like that. They speak about, we don't need, civilians don't need to carry guns. There's the police, but yet these politicians have an armed security detail with them 24/7. They have an armed security detail that's probably at their house right now as we speak. They have an armed security detail with them during the daytime. We don't have the luxury of that. The average law-abiding citizen, unless you're a millionaire and you're living, somewhere on the Upper East Side, all right, the average law-abiding citizen cannot afford to have, security, armed security. These politicians and these higher-ups are lucky to have that, but law-abiding citizens like me, we don't have that. So the next best thing to defend ourselves is with a firearm. And at the end of the day, people can say whatever they want to, but the reality of the situation is, I don't care how you know, if these strict gun laws were working, these, you know, these criminals wouldn't be able to have access to them, regardless of how strict New York laws are, and especially even in other places like California, you know, Boston, and all these other states that are anti-gun. Criminals will always have access to firearms, all right? If they cannot get them from off the streets, they're going to make them, all right?
Whoa. I didn't even consider him saying that. The fact that, yeah, if you don't get a firearm, these guys are out there making them.
Oh,
People
yeah.
are out there stealing basically 3D printers and making guns. So yeah, he's got a point. He's got a strong point. He makes more cases for people to actually, and again, because he got his own taken, but he makes more strong cases for people to be able to defend themselves. Because quite frankly, let's just say you're someone like me, right? I don't have a firearm, but quite frankly, I do other things to be able to help supplement. No matter how I look at it, me still facing someone in the street who has a firearm is still the advantage is still theirs. It's not mine. Because even I don't walk around with any other projectiles on me. So that means I have to do everything close quarters. I didn't even consider people who are out there making their own weapons. I didn't even think about that. He brought up a strong point when it comes to that.
If the criminals
guns,
really,
right?
yes, 100%, and not only just ghost guns, but homemade firearms. I've seen pictures of homemade firearms put together with pipes and other material. So it goes to show that if the criminals really want to get access to weapons, no matter what laws you pass out there, these criminals are still going to have access to it. All right. But the only thing I realize is what's happening is you're telling the law-abiding citizen, oh, you can't have this, you can't have a firearm. And even if you do have a firearm, you can't take it into certain places. But then again, look at it, for example, here's a perfect example. Times Square, it's a sensitive location. You cannot bring a firearm there.
The no guns.
All right? Yeah, it's a gun-free zone. All right? But if I'm not mistaken, 2 months ago, all right, a migrant, you know, shot a security guard and then shot at police. And that was a gun-free zone. So if your gun-free zone was working, all right, if your sensitive location law was working, how in the world was a migrant able to get into Times Square with a firearm, shoot a security guard, and then shoot at a New York City police officer?
So who do you feel that the no gun signs are for, really?
And keep in mind, that's Times Square. He's not wrong about that. Though if Times Square, which is surrounded by a bunch of cops, they still got the dogs, the bomb squad. They strap with all kind of iron. Like, he's not wrong about that. How did they manage to let that happen? Now, when I say manage to let that happen, how did the migrant manage to walk up there and be able to not only shoot somebody else, but also shoot a security guard? Because
where did the illegal get the gun?
That's the point I was about to go to. Because it's just
I bet you he doesn't have a 3D printer.
Right. So the idea is that it's just so easy to get a gun that why can't we just make it acceptable for everybody to be? And keep in mind, I even said earlier, I'm not even talking about open carry, because I think if people are displaying their guns, people who either don't have guns or people who want to get more guns will go after people who are displaying their weapons, try to catch them off guard. But anyone who's concealed, you just don't know. And I said that fear of the unknown is enough, I think, that it will quell down the numbers. But at the beginning, maybe it just needs to be enough people getting bullet holes in them because they just don't know who's the mofo that got it. And I think it needs to be something that we put with people. At the same time, I do worry about this, Mayo. People who are now getting access to guns who may not have ever had access to guns before, now that everybody would just want to start rampantly started to get permits, they'll be acting a fool because not everybody will become trigger happy. I do worry about the beginning of that.
Yeah, but see, you worry about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Show me where that Wild West scenario has ever played out in any state when they end up.
No. I'm not saying it's a Wild West, but I'm saying the people who cannot get guns and they always claim that they're looking over their shoulder. Because that thing, people are very soft in New York. I'm just putting it out there. So now the idea that they've been told that they can actually go out and get a firearm, I think they will be too not trigger happy that they can't wait to shoot. Even though you will have some people like that, but I think that those who are just in fear of everything, they'll be quick to just shoot quickly. Those are the people I worry about. they'll be the
Yeah,
shoot
but
first.
just because they're quick to shoot doesn't mean they were wrong to shoot.
I wouldn't want someone in a building to start shooting through their door because the Chinese man made an error on ringing the wrong
Oh no,
door.
I agree. I agree with that. I mean, yeah, you don't want to shoot the DoorDash guy for knocking on your door.
Right.
But as I said again, these things have not happened in mass in any city or state.
I agree.
Where concealed carry has happened.
I agree, which is why I am for us, making those rules a lot more lax for people to be able to protect themselves. Because if you're going to have like the mayor's office, even though his numbers are not necessarily wrong, we don't have as much spiking crime as we do. But if you want to talk about, well, we're gonna make the place feel safer, but we're gonna put more cops in these areas. But to be honest with you, you have very low number of cops, and the response time is still, if anything, is thinner now because you don't have more cops on standbys because they're wasting their time, basically just being paraded. Then give people more stability in their comfort by letting them be able to get access to firearms.
Yeah,
that's the way how I.
The cops are a dartboard approach.
Yep.
Where we're going to hit here today, here tomorrow, here.
Mm-hmm.
But those 12 other places on the board where it didn't hit, they're all wide open tomorrow.
Especially when you do things like throw all these migrants on the street, not knowing what they're going to do, especially where we're on the rise of people who are squatting. I mean, it's like, what the hell? You don't know who's going to be the person that kicks in your door one day because, quite frankly, let's just say you're a loner. You're a person who mainly stays at home. Oh, I don't know when's the last time I saw this neighbor because you stay at home a lot. And then people are kicking in your door because they hear that no one really is there. Because they think you're on vacation, this apartment is vacant or this house is vacant, and they kick in and then you're there and you're unprepared. Even we talk about people who want to prepare. They're prepping, so therefore they need to have fire. You can't have firearms because you can have all the food and everything you want. What is that to say to somebody who has firearms?
If you can't defend it, yeah, you ain't got it.
Exactly. What do we do about that? You can go take all the taekwondo and Krav Maga. You're not doing bullet time. You're not dodging shit. So what do we do about that? You give people the right to be able to protect themselves. You already do so many other things. Oh, you already gotta have the ammunition on one side. You gotta have the gun over here or in a locker or whatever. You already have.
I'm not even for that shit either.
I hear you, but you already have. I'll be honest with you. I don't think most people follow it, but you already have all that shit, right? Yeah. Then, if you're gonna have all that shit, lessen it so that people can get access to it.
If you're gonna have all that shit, nobody's actually armed anyway.
So give people the opportunity to get firearms.
Yep.
Like that's just the way how I look at it.
How many people in New York City?
The number keeps going up because they're starting to include migrants. So
yeah.
So I haven't seen what the most recent numbers are. Let's see.
8.3 according to this, but and that was 2022. So
that's 2022. Yeah.
Yeah, but so we're probably up around 9, almost
million.
10, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're probably around 10 or 11.
If you opened up concealed carry in New York City, you would damn near sell out of handguns countrywide.
Yeah. You most likely
in a week.
Mm-hmm. I'd be for it. Oh, you want to see the gun shows in New Rochelle? Absolutely. Oh, I hear that they're doing a big gun show, auction, whatever, in the Barclays Center. Absolutely, let's go.
I'd be set up in the first National Guard Armory closest in Pennsylvania, closest to New York City.
I'd be networking so quickly. Hey, keep my name, keep my face, because I will be coming back. Give me your card. Where's your website? Like, keep me in mind. I'm getting my shit, and I'd be networking. I'd be building rapport. Yeah, if I bought this and you give me a discount on this on what? Absolutely. I'd be one of the first people out there lining up. Absolutely.
But the biggest problem in New York, though, with this is the people themselves.
Yeah.
They have been taught to be afraid of guns. And it's not just the downstaters.
I know. It's been the entire state and the neighboring states as well.
Yeah. It's literally that, if you have a gun in your house, somebody in your house is going to die because a gun exists there.
The kids are all going to shoot themselves. Like,
yep.
Yeah, and it's not true. It's not true. But it's also the fact that people don't practice the when we do see those weird instances because people did not practice gun safety. They didn't.
Oh,
then you add all this extra shit, like like the separating of ammo and guns. But then then give them now. You put that into place. So that means if anybody runs up in your place and they say, "Well, we see ammo next to guns," you're gonna get fined or whatever the hell they. You're not even letting that go. You're not even letting that go.
The best way to get a kid not interested in something is to let him do it.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I've been walking around.
It works for most. It works for most. It's not the same when you give a kid whiskey. Maybe they might still reach.
No, but yeah.
They're great.
No, dude, did you like the first taste of beer your uncle gave you?
Actually, yes.
I really didn't.
Most kids don't.
Yeah, come in. He was drinking that bullshit.
I didn't like brandy. I didn't like brandy, but I did like beer.
But most kids didn't.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at the adults like, why the hell are you drinking this shit? This is horrible.
Yeah, that shit was terrible, Mayo.
Yep.
No, I was that kid that I reached for it again. And they were like, whoa, wait, no. They're like, it's in the blood. He's definitely going to drink.
I mean, I was hunting in the woods on my own at 12 years old. I mean, that was standard in the world I grew up in.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine that.
I had a 30-30. I had a 30-30 and a 12 gauge in my closet at 13 with bullets.
Yeah, couldn't imagine.
Under my control at 13.
Yeah, never in my household, which was funny too, because I would even say that most of my uncles, even my stepdad, whatever, we all military men, grandfather military men, they were all comfortable with guns. They just, because of the state that we lived in, we couldn't have them. But anytime we went out to the state, if we all went down south, they had no problem shooting or hunting. Like that was one of the things. Like I had to learn to be out there. That was the first time I ever hunting or gutting animals and cleaning. I was just like, oh my god, this is not for me. I was a city kid. Everybody would start laughing. I'm slipping and falling and pig shit or whatever, trying to hold the pig down. They're all laughing. We're going hunting. We're climbing trees and roping ourselves to make sure we stay in the tree. Look, what's happening here?
Yeah,
my uncle had a place.
Slipknot.
My uncle had a place. Pennsylvania has these cabins on state land all over the state. And he got a 100-year lease on one. And it's on state hunting land. And we always went out there as kids. When I lived in Philly, in Jersey, we always went out there as kids. So we were always around this. Dude, I got a picture of me holding up a deer head, and I'm probably 3 years old. And that was in South Jersey.
Damn.
Let me see if I can find the picture.
Oh yeah, I that's still something I wanted to do that I have never learned. I've always wanted to learn to ride horses. The first time I ever went to a dude ranch, like one of the horses got crazy, and they were just like, "Nope, this one horse is going crazy. Nobody gets to learn how to ride it." I'm like, "You got all these other horses. Just put that motherfucker to the back or something like that. Give him a trank or something. Like we still want to learn to ride horses." And the answer was no. Because that one horse got act up. They were afraid of how all the other kids were going to react, so nobody got to learn to ride a horse. So I never got to ride a horse. I've been around horses, sure, but I never got to learn to ride one. And that was something I always looked at it this way. anything that celebrities, movie stars get to learn, I want to learn it. If they had to learn to do all that kung fu moves and shit like that, I want to learn it. If they get to learn to ride a horse, because they make, when you're looking at things on TV, they make it look natural. So I'm like,
oh yeah, they make it look
these are
easy.
natural. Yeah, there's some natural things that I want to learn how to do those things. Like them, looking at my mom, why is it I don't know how to ride a horse? And like, because there's no horses in New York, and I'm just like, yes and no. Like, because if I go down to Central Park, I might see the rangers from time to time. That I gotta ask them, where'd you learn to ride a horse?
All right, can I bring this picture up, Resla?
Yeah, go ahead.
And this is in South Jersey. You guys see that?
Right now, Jesus.
That's me right there, the little guy.
All right. Okay.
That's how you.
Oh, my bad, OG.
No, you good? No, I'm just saying that's how you do it. You start a murder, get them right.
But
I mean, one of the first things I remember as a kid was the gun cabinet in the living room, hanging on the wall.
Yeah, I can't imagine. And I look at things like this, and I hear stories of people like, oh yeah, we used to go outside, we used to shoot cans, shoot watermelon, shoot all, and I'm just like, that sounds kind of fun. It sounds a little bit fun. Like I said, when I first started, my cousins and everything, they were already used to it because they were all from the South. They were all good, and they were like, oh yeah, so we have to learn too. Because believe it or not, even though we were still much older, because our family was more traditional we had to grow up, they still had kind of like rites of passage, you can kind of say, and you had to go learn to hunt. I remember my grandmother she was not for it. She was not for it at all. But I had to learn. And their first animal you kill, they do the whole eat the heart shit. And that was me with a rabbit. And I remember how furious she was. She was absolutely upset. That nothing's clean and they gonna do that. And I remember I got like he's not doing that, and then they woke me up in the middle of the night and be like, yeah, let's go. I'm just like, sure, fine, whatever. To come back all like bloody and everything, like, oh, yeah. I remember I couldn't go.
It's easier to beg for forgiveness than ask permission.
Yeah, I couldn't go anywhere for like 2 days. I remember that. Like, I was like, damn, I can't go nowhere.
And
like,
see,
no, you
and look,
sit your ass on this board.
I had the opposite effect because when we went out there and they taught us how to hunt, instead of putting guns in our hand and showing us stuff like that and bow and arrows and stuff, they started us off with just the small game. So the first thing I did catch was, I think it was a small, like one of them little, I don't want to call them gerbils, but they like moles. No, they're like moles, the little mole rats. And then after that, we upgraded to getting our slip knots and our little figuration with our traps down, bro, making sure the circle was right, making sure, you know what I'm saying? So when I first caught my first rabbit, bro, it was excitement for me because it wasn't the fact that the rabbit was dead. It was the fact, bro, that I created something
and
with
worked.
My bare hands and it worked.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that and then like I think 3 times after that I failed because of my knots. I didn't have the right, you know what I'm saying, and I didn't want using it. They was a little bit bigger than the average, you know what I'm saying, bunny rabbit we was catching, you know what I'm saying. These motherfuckers was kind of huge, you know what I'm saying, on the good side.
That's them Texas jackrabbits.
Yeah. So my little wire I had wasn't strong enough. You know what I'm saying? I had to learn that. So I mean, once you get that down, once you got that down, and you got the, you know what I'm saying, what the tensile strength of everything was, how hard something was going to pull, bro, it made you excited to go out there and do more. Then when I got to Mayo's level where we was able to use a gun and have to sit out there or either get in a blind, like you said, go up a tree or something, that just made it more intriguing because I already had patience because I love fishing. You know what I'm saying? So just sitting back, well, I'm gonna go check these traps every day. That's automatically you get that anxiety, that thrill of I'm gonna get something. Then you get that downfall when you don't got nothing in there. But when you got something, boy, your hopes and stuff go up. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I just everybody, it's just how they brought into it. The way I look at it, I think my cousin did the same way you did. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't used to it. You know what I'm saying? City boy, he wasn't really country like that. So you know. certain stuff that we had to do. He was like, "Oh yeah, that ain't fun." Plus, he didn't like bugs. You know what I'm saying? Anything biting him, anything like that. Yeah, he wasn't playing
I
with
still
that.
hate bugs. I still hate bugs, but after everything, like the more I learn, the more I wanted to do. I wanted to do more, and I think that was the thing that it was like, no, you can't be around nobody now because now you're intrigued. You got dirty. You did all the other shit. You done messed up all your good clothes. No, you can't do it.
Yeah.
And
My freshman and sophomore year, before I could work, I actually made my money trapping.
Yep. Make some good money trapping. What you was selling the felts and shit? Or you just yeah, he was eating.
Yep.
Yeah, I wasn't that cold to learn how to. I knew how to do it, but I didn't know about, you know what I'm saying? Like my uncle and them, when it came to that part, we got them and they showed us how to take the skin off stuff, but it was the other prep part to get that shit, you know what I'm saying, where the fur wouldn't come off the skin. You got to make sure you got all that fat up off of there. You got to scrape that shit. You know what I mean? You got to take care of that hide, bro. It ain't no joke.
I learned most of that from books.
Yeah.
And I got my first magazine subscription was a magazine called Fur, Fish, and Game. And I got that for like 3 years as a birthday present.
Maybe I will go into trying to learn a little bit more about stuff, because I remember when I used to like try to make traps and snares and everything, and that's really when I got much older. I guess that was my fondest memories, remembering building those kind of things. That's what made me start creating paracord bracelets, because I just like the idea of putting all that stuff together. That's how I got into it, and I stayed like I got a shit ton of bracelets because I just make a whole bunch of different stuff all the time. I think I have a big box just sitting in storage, just heavy box, and it literally just says paracord materials. That's all it says. I got a shit ton of stuff in there. Just a single box by itself. And sometimes I think about just breaking it out and just sitting here, and I just think of my fingers are gonna kill me. And if I do that, I'm not gonna have enough time to look for content at all. Yeah. And then so I think a lot about what's going on. This guy, like I said, he had it coming, but I also say for him, you did it kind of the wrong way. Like even if so, say you're allowed to carry whatever. I don't believe, me personally, especially as something that was, quote, my bread and butter as a photographer for NYPD. You get in, keep in mind, it's not like anybody could just run up and start doing photography for a funeral for cops. That means you worked your way in there. You made a good living or whatever, and you risked it all because you wanted to bring a firearm. Never mind, it's a police funeral, which means that there's going to be heavily armed people that's there.
Well, I
wouldn't
wonder,
have taken that risk.
Yeah, I think he probably bypassed the classes portion.
He did get it pretty quick
on a friend deal with the PD, and that probably is what led to his demise.
Yeah,
because like the guy was saying, who do these signs apply to? It's no different than any other speeding sign or traffic sign.
Right.
It only matters to law-abiding citizens. Criminals don't care.
That's true. I mean, and that's kind of the point that he was making. But I'm like, if you know that, right, why would you yes, I agree with you. Law-abiding citizens should be able to protect themselves. That's not the point we're making. But when I think of you would risk your comfort, you would risk essentially a career, a pretty nice career that you set up for yourself, and you would risk it because 5 days of only having the permit, by the way. Seriously?
Oh,
you would risk it
remember
all?
that guy we did the story on in New York City who got busted for making the guns, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
He got 10 years.
Right.
But I hate the way they framed it. He didn't have 10 years he didn't get 10 years for making guns. He got 10 years for being in possession of unregistered weapons.
Correct.
And high capacity magazines.
It wasn't like, oh, he was out there just selling them. He was making a profit like crazy. No, he was in possession.
Yeah.
And I'm just
unfortunately, that's why, like that armed fisherman guy in Florida, I don't really see him doing much good with their activism by causing public panic.
Public panic is never good.
You know,
It's not.
And legislation by shock value just doesn't work well.
Yeah, I think you pull people more away from your cause than anything else.
Exactly.
You'll get quick eyes to look at it, but never to stay.
Yeah, Louisiana is about to go constitutional carry.
That'll be interesting. I mean, and there's enough open land out there that I can see that happening, because it's not like they have like crazy amount of cities or whatever. So yeah, I can see that.
Oh no, but they got snakes and alligators for damn sure.
Yeah, they do. That they sure do. I'm surprised that like that's something that hasn't happened a long time ago, but I guess it's further north enough, where they will be affected by some of those things.
Well, and I just don't know how if they're going to allow cities to do their own though, kind of like New York did, because that's the problem is no place in New York is the same.
But that's why I think
if you have a New York state permit, you should be able to carry within this entire state.
I agree. That's what I think that we should get down to. We should have, and it should really just be a push to say, if you don't want a gun, that's your right. Don't get one, but don't hold people back who do need to protect themselves. And let's be honest, the people who are really out there, because here's my personal opinion. I don't think that people who have families who are willing to protect their families are going to be against having a gun. Because I guarantee when bullshit hits their door, they wish they would have one.
Oh yeah.
I think it's the people who are single, who are afraid of shit happening to them, that are the ones that are pushing against it. That's just my thought. People who honestly, really don't have things to lose.
Well, and it's the problem in New York is there have been so many generations where guns have been removed from the citizens.
But it's also been generations of people. But there's also been generations of people who have been murdered because of unregistered weapons.
Yeah, but look at New York City's murder rate during Giuliani.
Yeah, but that's just Giuliani. Once Giuliani was gone, look at what happened ever since.
But that's all anybody remembers. Is as far back as Giuliani and the beginning of Bloomberg.
I wonder how many people really remember Giuliani's time. I wonder.
Well, what they mostly know is Bloomberg's time because of Giuliani's rules.
But here's the next thing: a lot of people will not see Giuliani the way how like I see Giuliani, because most of the time when I run across a lot of people who talked about Giuliani, they only really talked about when he allowed cops to really, Giuliani, he did have a double-edged sword. When he was election time, it was in cops' favor. When it wasn't, he was all up against making sure that cops were regulated. So that one time around election time, you had to be on your P's and Q's, because cops kind of had a little bit extra power, and that's the way we saw it as citizens here in New York City. Once the election time was done, Giuliani would be back to the way we needed him. But they would take that small window of time and they would measure that across his entire cycle.
Yeah.
Now that was a problem. That was a problem that I had, because anytime you really spoke to a lot of black people, they were like, "Man, the way how he is with all these cops," and sitting there like, "Yeah, but look at all the good things that happen with this too." They're looking at me weird, like, "What do you mean? People out here just getting murdered all the time by cops?" I'm just like, that's not true. that's not true. Is it bad when it's around election time? Yes, but outside of that, it's really not that bad. And people would like that. That's the thing about people.
New York City had the lowest murder rate for any large city in the world. City,
correct,
in the world.
But people don't think about that because they only look at the one small instance that they find to be a problem, and they write the rest of you off. And that's just people in general.
Oh yeah,
that critical thinking is just not something that's always helped.
Well, yeah, and it's the '94 crime bill too. Because if I ask anybody who's really against it, they had a relative who got rolled up in it.
But that relative was most likely doing something ridiculous.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know.
You know, in their eyes, that doesn't matter because they, most likely they were a kid when it happened.
Mm-hmm. They were locking up superheroes.
And that was just Uncle Joe.
Yep.
Uncle Joe.
They were locking up my idols.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. So I, you know, and I was probably, when I was a lot younger, looking at it like, damn, like shit is going crazy. But as I get older, as I gotten older, and I looked at it, I was just like, actually, those were some rather peaceful times. Because really, stupid situations were situations that, quite frankly, I shouldn't have been in the first place, or it was people that were acting up that shouldn't have been doing what they were doing. So once, like I could say, when Giuliani left, or even with the time of coming up through Bloomberg, I was just like, things weren't really that bad. Like, we had a lot of hell. The crime was down. The Yankees was winning nonstop. Like everything was good. Like,
Yep.
what are we saying here?
Yeah. But look at pictures of Times Square from the early 80s and the 70s. And it's all porn shops.
Most people don't see that, especially because, like I said, a lot of native New Yorkers, a lot of them have left, number one. But a lot of the New Yorkers that you see here, they're people who come in after. So they only see the progressive state that we have now.
Yeah.
They weren't there for all that stuff.
No, they
And
didn't
them
see the
looking at books,
dilapidated city everywhere.
right? Or they will, like, really? Times Square used to look like, yeah, because you've only been here for like 2 or 3 years. What the fuck would you know about New York? Everything about what your history of New York is all black and white. Yeah, I saw everything, all those pictures in black and white, all the films in black and white. Like, do you think it just like that, everything went to color and everything was just looking better? No, it took time. Like, what are we doing here? Nobody knows about.
Think about the money after Times Square was cleaned out from crime and those businesses. Think about the money that was poured into that place.
It absolutely was poured to do all that reconstruction to what it is now.
Yeah.
To have the Broadway theaters that we have, the multiple Broadway theaters just on 42nd by itself, like that, everything changed up. Nothing was like that back then. I remember when the only time we really ever went down to Times Square was when our parents was really looking to, like, really give my brother and I an experience of going to, like, to the movies and things like that, because it was literally a popular movie theater on Times Square. But
yeah,
outside of that, it was like, I think it was one of the few times I really saw my stepdad get on the train. Because outside of that, we drove everywhere. He's like, I'm not going. If we're going anywhere, I'm driving. I'm not. He detests getting on trains. So that was like, we would have to, like, go down into the city for like a movie night or something like that for a big film in order for him to get on a train.
Yeah, you ever seen the movie Warriors?
Yes.
Those are the trains he grew up with.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I don't blame him for detesting those trains.
Yeah, I get it. I hear what this guy is saying, and he's got a whole bunch of stuff apparently, but because part of his thing is that despite everything that happened to him, and I'm gonna take a guess, he still supports police. I think he might even want to be a police officer. I guess he looks young enough where he could still become one if he wants to. But at the same time, he kind of messed up. He messed a lot of stuff when it came to it. He messed up what I assume might be a legal career. Maybe if he's smart enough, he's able to recoup that. But I think now the chance of him getting a permit is pretty much slim to none, because he just ruined that. He ruined that for himself.
Well, but one thing I see with him though, all right, he was concealed carrying, but obviously concealed carrying.
Yeah.
He wanted people to know.
Yeah.
He wanted people to see it through his jacket or through his shirt. You know what I mean?
And again, I just think it is the optics. I don't think it was smart to bring that to a place like a police funeral.
Oh no, no.
I mean, not for nothing. If I was even a regular funeral, I would not want to be standing there while we're lowering the casket, or even in the church, and I'm just standing there without my gun in a holster. Like, it looks. It needs to be the situational awareness, and I don't think he really had that. I think he was just excited to finally have a gun, and I can take it with me anywhere. Yeah. And I think that was a problem. Yeah. But now it's just one extra person. Even if you claim, because here's the next thing: I believe that I should have a gun to protect myself. Do you believe that you were in most danger at a police funeral? The answer being no.
Well,
That's
the
why.
thing is, though, and this like you still can't carry on federal property.
Right.
And a lot of states you can't even carry on state property, like state parks, that kind of thing. And
yeah.
It either has to be all or nothing. See, Kansas did their laws right. The only places I can't carry in Kansas is in a place that serves alcohol if I'm drinking.
That makes sense. Yes.
And a place that has controlled access and security, i.e. the courthouse. And if I walk up to the courthouse with a gun, I hand it to the guard. He puts it in a locker. He gives me a key. He keeps the key. I go in and do my courthouse business.
Come back.
I'm protected by armed guards while I'm in the courthouse.
Mm-hmm.
And when I come back out, we do the double key thing. I take my gun back.
Mm-hmm.
I sign it back out, and I'm gone.
It's no different from having a safe deposit box.
Yeah.
No different.
Yeah.
I'm with that. That sounds reasonable. I'm with that. Honestly, like, let's just say if you have particular businesses, I think it's the same way. You walk in, you check your shit in, it gets locked. You get your key or your ticket, whatever the hell it is, like, and you come back and it's the same thing. I'm with that. I don't know how many people or businesses rather want to invest in those things, but I think I'm surprised that this didn't become a thing that was a stronger push when we started having the mass movie shootings. That's what I'm surprised. I'm surprised there wasn't a stronger push when people were talking about mass shootings at the Batman movie. That should have been a strong push. To be like, if only people were armed.
Did you ever hear about the Luby shooting in Texas? Back in the 80s?
No, you'll have to refresh my memory. I can't remember.
I'll find, because it was a doctor who was in there. And I think she later became like a state representative. And it's her talking to Congress in the 80s, asking them why she can't have a gun. Because both her parents were murdered in this shooting. And this crazy guy just drove his car through the front of the restaurant and got out and started shooting people.
That's fucked up.
I think it's just weird that with all this time being, especially when you even laid it out, and I agree with it because it's true. In a place like New York, where it has the least amount of crime. Yeah, it's crime. It's crime somewhat going up, yeah, but that's throughout time. But it's still one of the lowest. People, like I said, people just say right now, "Oh, crime is so high." No, it's the perception of crime that's high. It's really actually low. It's low. But again, if you want to make people feel more at ease, because you cannot say we have so much crime and we need to have a better presence of security. Then what more better presence of security could you possibly have than knowing that you can protect yourself? Protect yourself. Let's see.
Oh wait, no, I'll pull up a better copy of that. Hold on.
Okay. And what better way than to be able to protect yourself? Because my thing is, like, if you already know police time is slow, or that they may not even really be able to protect you once you're there. Let's see.
And see, Texas was actually way behind for gun rights. Far behind other states.
I'm not.
Okay, so let's have a look at what was happening in this case.
Let me make sure that you understand I'm not here representing the NRA. I'm not even a member. Okay? Secondly, I'd like to say that in your opening statements, you commented specifically on my testimony, saying that basically it had nothing to do with this issue. And I had to chuckle because then I noticed you had Mr. Brady up here, who was hit not with an assault weapon, but with a .22 caliber revolver. So getting beyond that, I didn't grow up in a house with guns. I don't hunt. I personally abhor hunting. But I was given a gun by a friend when I was 21 to carry in my purse for self-defense, and I was taught how to use it. A couple of years ago, my parents and I went to a cafeteria in Texas on a bright sunny day. We weren't in a dark alley where we weren't supposed to be. And as you all know the story, this madman drove his truck through the window. And he began shooting. Well, immediately, my father and I got down on the floor and put the table up in front of us. And this guy kept shooting. And you're thinking, what could it be? Is it a robbery? That's the first thing that generally comes to mind. And he keeps shooting. It took me a good 45 seconds to realize that this man wasn't there to commit a robbery. He wasn't there for a hit. He was there to simply shoot as many people as he possibly could. Now, I'd like to make something clear. I hear all this talk about how many bullets can go in a clip. I've been there. I can tell you it doesn't matter. It takes 1 second to switch out a clip. You can have 1 bullet or 100 bullets. It doesn't matter, guys. I've been there. He goes, stump, stump. Just like that. That's not enough time to rush a man. I promise you. When I finally realized what was occurring, I thought, I got him. And I reached for my purse. He was maybe 12 feet away. Is it possible my gun could have jammed? Sure. Is it possible I could have missed? Sure. But I can tell you I've hit much smaller targets at much greater distances. But then I realized that a couple of months earlier, I had made the stupidest decision of my life. I took my gun out of my purse and left it in my car. Because as you well know, in the state of Texas, it's sometimes a felony offense to carry a gun in your purse. I can tell you that I'm not mad at the guy that did this. As he continued, it was obvious that he was a madman. My father, at that point, said, I've got to do something. I've got to do something. He's going to kill everybody in here. And he rushed the man. No way. Guy turned, shot him in the chest. He went down, was obviously mortally wounded. For whatever reason, that made the man change directions and go off to my left. Shortly thereafter, someone at the back of the restaurant broke out a window. When I saw what looked like an opportunity to escape, I turned around and I grabbed my mother by the shirt and I said, come on, we've got to run, we've got to get out of here. And then my feet grew wings and I was out the back window. As soon as I got out, I realized that my mother had not followed me out. And as I learned from the police officers, she had crawled over to where my father was and cradled him until the guy got back around her, put the gun to her head. She looked up at him, put her head down, and he pulled the trigger. My parents had just had their 47th wedding anniversary. She wasn't going anywhere. As I mentioned, I'm not really mad at the guy that did this. And I'm certainly not mad at the guns that did this. They didn't walk in there by themselves and pull their own triggers. The guy that did it was a lunatic. That's like being mad at a rabid dog. I'm mad at my legislators for legislating me out of the right to protect myself and my family. I would much rather be sitting in jail with a felony offense on my head and have my parents alive. As far as these so-called assault weapons, you say that they don't have any defense use. You tell that to the guy that I saw on a videotape of the LA riot, standing up on his rooftop, protecting his property and his life from an entire mob with one of these so-called assault weapons. Tell me that he didn't have a legitimate self-defense use. Just one final statement. I've been sitting here getting more and more fed up with all of this talk about these pieces of machinery having no legitimate sporting purpose, no legitimate hunting purpose. People, that is not the point of the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is not about duck hunting. And I know I'm not going to make very many friends saying this, but it's about our rights, all of our rights to be able to protect ourselves from all of you guys up there.
Huh. Yeah. Yeah.
And it was still 20 years till Texas got concealed carry. After and look at those faces in that crowd and the congressman. They're the same motherfuckers that are there today. Chuck Schumer being the biggest one.
Nigga, they've been up there that long, Mayo, 20
Yes,
something
sir.
years.
Yeah.
Yes,
They
sir.
have. Yeah. They
Bro,
still
that
doing
nigga looked
shit.
at, bro, he looked at old on that motherfucker. That nigga, he probably look older now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That don't make no sense, dog.
I think he killed 27 people in that massacre.
Oh, that don't make no sense.
Zoomer, what's going
23
on?
people killed and 20 wounded.
Yes, listen. And again, if we had just had things implemented to that, and again, that was 20 years ago. We still have to talk about the things that just still happened later on. That was like, what, 1991 or something like that?
Yeah,
30
that
years
was
ago,
30
yeah.
years ago.
And
Over 30 years ago.
And every decade, we still see mass shootings. I don't understand why people just won't say it's okay for people to be able to protect themselves. No one should just be able to walk up into your local mall and just have at it on so many people, basically uncontested.
And this was in Killeen, Texas, right next to Fort Hood.
This should not be possible. I mean, hell, in the Fort Hood, how many people were shot in the Fort Hood shooting before the guy was taken down?
Oh God.
It damn for sure was. I don't believe it was like 28. Let's see.
"12 soldiers and 1 civilian killed. 35 people wounded."
35 wounded.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
That was with 1 pistol.
Mm-hmm. But if everybody's sitting around with the possibility of being able to stop that, like, I don't understand. I always go back to the original one that really started putting people on the map for mass shootings, not the Virginia Tech. When you think about all those people who basically crowded up into a corner of the wall, basically just being picked off.
Yep.
And I'm just like, this is ridiculous. There's no way that this should have ever been that much loss of life. At all.
No.
We have countless examples let's just go from when we're talking about this young woman. So we're talking about at least 30 years. We've seen countless examples, and yet we still sit back and we have to deal with this. But yet you'll even see people who are politicians talking about, like, I want my gun. For what? No one else can have theirs, but you want yours? Stop it. Not at all. Yet you have other examples like those who stormed the Capitol. You didn't see a whole bunch of recklessness that happened, like people were just getting shoot up all over the place. You didn't. But you have people who have specific agendas to take out a whole bunch of people, and you're basically saying that you're allowed to be a sitting duck. You're not allowed to protect yourself. It is duck hunting season whenever someone else decides that they want to do so. And it's ridiculous. Should never be a thing. And for me in general, I think it's okay for people to just be able to carry. Yes, we have plenty of other states that do so, but let's be honest, we have a lot of people who are these criminals who get it from all over the place. We already know they do not follow the same rules. So if you want Americans, because I don't understand, here's my next thing. Why do you support criminals? I'm just gonna put it out there. Why are you supporting criminals? Regardless of where you are, if we know that a lot of the mass shootings, or rather a lot of the unjustified killings or whatever, happens because of people who have unregistered weapons. Why would you not want to give law-abiding citizens the opportunity to do their part? If you want to claim that you want the good guys to be able to fend themselves off and have less bad guys here, why would you not put it in the hands of those people?
Yeah, but I've even heard family members of people who've been shot while committing crimes complaining that that person shouldn't have shot their relative. And you heard it during the riots. Is a TV worth a life? There's literally people who believe that way.
If you're doing a riot, if you're raiding stores, you're not a good guy. And if you get shot, you get shot. I'm the kind of person that I don't feel sorry for you when you're one of the people on Black Friday stampeding into a place. I don't feel sorry.
Yep. No.
You get no sympathy from me. None.
Nope.
I would not be bringing my children there. I would not. The only people I feel sorry for during those times are the people that have to open the doors to you.
Yeah, I feel sorry for the store employees.
Yeah, no one else. No one else. Anyone on the outside waiting again, I don't have any sympathy for you. I would rather wait and buy it full price than go through the efforts of me having to possibly lose my life trying to get it at a discount. Your life was not worth. Your life is at discount at that point.
Yeah. And people don't realize that carrying a gun is a responsibility.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
And if you make one mistake while you're carrying that gun, you are going to prison for a long time.
Yeah, buddy.
I had when I had my ankle surgery from when I got hurt in Afghanistan, my girlfriend had left the front door unlocked. And I was laying on the couch. I'm in a surgical cast in my fucking underwear. And I hear somebody playing with my screen door. So I get up, I got my little crutch, and my 45's laying on the table, and I pick it up. And here come 3 drunk motherfuckers through my front door carrying a case of beer.
Wrong house. Or did you know them?
I pull up. No, I had no fucking clue who they were.
Jesus Christ.
But when I saw the case of beer, I knew they weren't coming in to fucking rob me.
Whoa. You guys came to rob me, or are we all celebrating?
These guys were out of the bar someplace. Somebody gave them a wrong fucking address, or they came to the wrong address, expecting an after party. I let them leave. Called the cops because I got their license number off my camera. Cop comes, he's like, you could have shot them. I said, yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't carry a gun to shoot people. It's not my purpose. My purpose is getting to a point where I have to shoot somebody.
And that's what we call being responsible. Because I said the same thing. Listen, I've had cops come up to our apartment, and they're looking around. They're looking around because there was a call for. What was the call for? The call was for actually it wasn't for my apartment, but it was for the houses next door. And the problem that we have on my I'll say this, but what problem that we have on my particular lot is that the address, we all kind of share the same numbers on the address for the particular row of houses.
Yeah.
So if you're not very specific, almost anybody, like, they can make a mistake on which house they're walking up to on the block that I'm on. So what happens is that hey, we got a call about whatever, and I'm just like, not here. Like, not here, officer. And they're looking around, and they're just like, so what's up with this and what's up with that? Because they can already see I have things mounted in particular areas for protection. And I'm just like, just in case. I said, but I don't use it for anything else. And they're just like, cool, good to know. And I said, hey, and they're all legal. He's like, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, good to know. I'm happy I got to scope out your place first. So he's like, I'm out. I was like, okay, cool. Have a good day. Have a good day. John the Baptist, what's going on, sir?
What's up, my good sirs? How y'all doing today?
What's up, man?
What's good with John?
I was trying to come up early, but my wife called, so I had to spend time talking to my bride, man. So, but you had a good show going on talking about the little girl, but I won't go back in time though.
Well, yeah, that's all right. That's all right. I just wanted to know what you were thinking since you came up here in pretty much the last moment, because I'm going to spend a little bit more time, and then I'm going to close up the show for today. So I do want to thank everybody who did show up. What were your thoughts on what was going on? You can talk about the little girl or whatever other things we were talking about.
Well, that's when I had to check out there when you were talking about that first story.
Okay.
And then yeah, that was one I my thoughts on that was I was kind of agreeing with OG. She was kind of imitating parents. She was imitating those who were around her. I think that's what OG was saying. Like, it's been a few minutes, but yeah, she was just imitating those. But those women, man, they were just that one was the influence on her life, from what I saw anyway.
Did you hear about?
I can't. Go ahead.
I think. Did you hear about the fact that her father was dead, the little girl's father?
No, I missed that part. I missed that part of the story.
So part of her outburst was the fact that she was saying like, "Oh, my dead father, I swear," and then she was even threatening, "I'm gonna kill somebody." Saying this little girl, saying this in front of cops.
And that's not how kids talk. That's how adults talk. So
that's what OG said. Grown woman and little girl's body.
Yeah, that's what like even her demeanor, like how she's clapping her hands, how she was demonstrative, just the loud voice, the talking loud, just that's not how little kids talk. And I was agreeing with OG the whole time he was saying that when that was true. I was thinking the exact same thing. That's just what that was. And so when you see that, that's why I think parenting is so important to raising kids. Is like everything you do in front of your child is learning. Everything a child sees, they're learning.
I agree. So my problem. So I'll go back to the point. Since you may have missed out a little some of it, because there was even a little bit of we had to have a bit of an exchange to really clarify points that were going on between OG, Mayo, and myself. I'm not upset of the fact that not upset at all, but I didn't have contention with the fact that the little girl had an outburst. Children have outbursts. I even agree with OG on the fact that she's young, she has to figure out a way to express herself or whatever. My thing was just in how she was doing it, and the fact that this is the overall tutelage that comes from the people that are supposed to be her guardians. That was my major contention when it came to how this little girl was expressing herself. That even that she felt that it was okay to outright threaten people's lives. I don't think she really like. Yes, she's a child, but see,
she doesn't
you
understand.
Know that as a parent, as a guardian, that you should be able to explain to her, especially when she said, "Oh, my dead father." So that means you understand the concept of death. That doesn't mean the man walked away out the door. He can just come see you on weekends or whatever. You know that he is never coming back. For you as a young child, you have the concept of now death in your head, because some people still have a problem grasping that. But the idea that now you would openly and blatantly threaten, which means this is not the first time she's done it. Her guardian / parent thought it was okay or cute. That's my problem. It's the influence that's around her.
When it comes to kids imitating adult behavior and even understanding death, although I understand the point that you're making, I give kids who talking it, I don't think she fully understands death. I think because she's lost her father, I think she understands the concept of death, that her father's no longer here. She understands that he's dead and not coming back. But I don't think let's say she's 7. Let's say she's 7 to 9 years old, whatever it is.
Okay.
John,
I think I'm sorry to cut you, but I don't think that when I say the concept of death, I mean when I say the concept of death, I mean the concept of absentness, of being absent. I'm not talking about the concept of sorrow. I'm not talking about the feeling of death, but the concept of death of just knowing that there is no more existence of said individual. You understand what death is when you just understand the basis that there's no coming back, that this person ceases to exist. She understands that. I'm not talking about the experience of sorrow from death, because we talk about the concept and the emotion. I'm not talking about the emotional part. She understands the concept that when someone's gone, they do not return. So for her to blatantly say that she would make other people no longer exist, not a good thing for a child to say. That's the point that I'm putting out.
Okay, so I'm not trying to push back too much on it, because I think
no.
ultimately I agree with what you're saying. Because I think I would say I think I think she probably understands. I'm gonna say this different. I think she emotionally she understands death better than the concept.
I didn't consider that. Can you elaborate a little bit more?
I would think that you, as a child, understanding like I feel sad, I feel sorrow that my father's if she saw him laying in the casket, she made the connection of how him laying there motionless, lifeless. She made that connection emotionally, how that feels. The concept and how you process that as an adult, or excuse me, the concept of how you process, and then the concept and understand the concepts and how you process this in a healthy way is what I think she's going to struggle with. Now, and I don't want to spend time arguing because I think we kind of agree on that. But
we're not arguing. You spend again. You're spending a point that I didn't even consider, so I'm like, go for it. I like this. I like the perspective so far.
And also, I also agree with you too. Is like, and I'm most definitely should agree with on this one too. Is that it is her parents that made her react the way that she's reacting right now in an unhealthy fashion. It's her parents, and then I'm just gonna go on a limb. Those aunts, uncles, those extended family members who she's imitating as well. That she learned this baby from, and I think it's so important as adults that we carry ourselves in a certain way around kids, and that we express ourselves in a healthy way, whether it's through loss, whether it's through anger, or whatever emotion you're going through. It's our job to display a healthy way of expressing it in front of kids because they're always watching, they're always learning. And I caught on that with my, just being a parent and just being living a life in general. But anyway, though,
I can agree with that. Yeah, it sounds plausible to me. So did you see the last segment that we were pretty much making the discussion on about?
No, I just actually came back up. I just came back up.
Damn, your wife don't let you do nothing fun. No, let me stop.
We was actually talking about my birthday weekend, so I had to spend some time talking to her.
I got you. So one of the last segment that we were talking about was pretty much we had a photographer who pretty much worked for NYPD. He was like their kind of like media liaison. So he would be the one that take pictures of officers, put them on social media like Instagram and such, but he would also take other pictures and such. Now, he was kind of happy of the fact that I'm not gonna lie, he got his permit a little bit early, but he was able to get a carry conceal permit pretty much in a matter of a quick months. I think it may have only taken him a month or two. But what he did, he made the mistake of taking his carry conceal gun to a cop's funeral, a massive funeral, by the way, and
which is a parade.
It was a parade. Yes, it absolutely was.
Which is a place you can't carry in New York City.
He was in Long Island, so
yeah,
he was rather away from the mark. Yes, I understand it's still kind of New York City, but they have a different county rule. So it was taken from him, and pretty much everything else around that was also ruined. So it's not like they just took the gun, but they kind of ruined his career as well. Or rather, he ruined his career as well because he wasn't, as I stated, he wasn't practicing situational awareness. And but the greater issue, because the original reason why he states that he even got the permit was to be able to protect himself. And I made a whole bunch of different comparisons as to all the different things that we have going on. We still have people who are, quite frankly, not mentally right, who are still committing all kind of crimes and such. We still have people who are homeless and they don't know what to do. We're still dealing with a rise in squatters for some reason. It's not crazy, but the numbers have ticked up. I still think about the squatters who came into that woman's house, killed her, pretty much dismembered her and put her in a duffel bag and put her in the closet. So that's always a possibility as a person who lives to yourself. And I just said, if you have all this rise in instability, let's just put it that way. You have a rise in instability. Why is it that we are not inclined as a city, especially as even Mayo said it, and I agree wholeheartedly, as one of the not only most prominent cities on the globe, but one of the most safest cities on the globe. Because despite what people might say in the perception of crime in New York, it's actually pretty damn low. It's just the perception of it that's given in because of media makes it seem like it's much greater than what it actually is. I'm not stating that we shouldn't protect ourselves because crime is so low. We absolutely should. But I don't think anyone ever wants to find themselves being on the news one day of saying that while in your house, that I'll even put it for Mayo, in your drawers with your cast on, that someone could just bust in your door and you have no means to protect yourself, unlike Mayo was able to protect himself. And they can do God knows whatever. And God forbid if you actually have a family and kids, you have things or people to protect, and you're not able to do so. So even if you have all the crazy laws that they try to put out, like you need to have your ammo on one side, and you need to have your gun in a safe, and it must be a particular type of lock or a particular handle box, and you must get all this training or whatever. Why not still lower the threshold for urban areas to be able to have people, the good guys that they claim, the responsible people that they claim, to have firearms? I know I just kind of I had a lot there, but I had to really break it down so you didn't see it.
I actually did hear, I did catch the end of that conversation. So now you make context to it, I could follow more. And Mayo, I want to say that was the best intrusion that you could have had. So did they share the beer? Did they share the beer with you? He stepped down. But yeah, so we understand that I don't think the cop had any ill intent, right, at the parade. It was just for self-protection. It was just protection, right? My understanding of it, just for protection. And I think what we're doing here is like we're making all these rules and these laws for citizens who obey these rules and laws. And we're putting them in a box, in a bind where they can't protect themselves.
Agreed.
Because we already know that criminals are not going to follow the laws. They're going to break every law that they
That's
can.
the central part of all this. Yep.
So
That's the part. Yep.
We're trying to make it safer for the cities and for the citizens, but you're actually making citizens unsafe in the city.
I like what you just said there. I like what you said there, but I'm going to change a little bit. We make it safe for the city, not for the citizens.
Okay.
It's pretty much what you said, but I'm cutting out a couple of words in it. We make it safe for the city for its perception of the city, the city for protecting the city structures like police officers. Because quite frankly, if police officers are the only ones with guns, and now your average well-to-do citizen can have a gun legally, do cops still want to approach people who have firearms? The answer is most likely no. Even though those people are responsible. So I would say that the city is putting a whole bunch of measures to protect itself rather than to protect its citizens. Now, I didn't think about it in such a way until you said your sentence. But yeah, I think the city is safeguarding itself and not necessarily safeguarding its citizens.
So I conceal carry around my city, and sometimes I open carry around my city. We got the option, you can do either one. And I see other people doing it too as well. I'm not afraid of other people carrying, conceal, or open. It doesn't bother me at all to see someone with a weapon. Now,
but
what
why?
bothers me, why? Because I think most citizens obey the laws. Most people carry most people open carry or conceal carry, understand how much trouble they can get in behind that weapon. So
don't you believe that's a part of the mentality? But don't you believe that the reason why you have that, I'm not trying to stick a thought in your head, I'm asking a question. But don't you believe that part of that mentality that you have, that you're okay with people who have guns, who are able to conceal carry, is because you've already subjected yourself to people you already subjected yourself to the mind frame of people who are able to carry because you're able to do so as well, that you think it's a good thing because you believe it's right. It's harder for people in a state, and I was stating this earlier, what you heard, for people who have never had a gun. So now they have to learn all the things that you've already learned. They have to learn to be responsible. They have to learn to be comfortable with the idea of the fact that other people also have guns, which is also the thing that we need to get the criminals on page with. That you need to learn now that other people got guns now too.
Well, what I found with the left is they like to project their own emotions onto other people in situations.
They do.
So they think if John gets angry and John's carrying a gun, John's going to shoot somebody. Because most likely that's what they would do if they were carrying a gun and they were angry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they react, the left reacts emotionally, not logically to most situations. And they project that self-thought onto other people.
Correct. I'm gonna give you an example. One day when I go for my walk.
Yeah, that's it right there, Mayo.
When I go for a walk, I got a couple courses I walk, but I never leave. I'll always leave with my piece with me.
Okay.
But one place I go to, I end up at Walgreens, and I walk in, use the restroom, and buy me a water. And one day I was at Walgreens, and it was two female Spanish-speaking Latinos working the register. The one young female saw it on
thank
my
you for making that clarification, by the way.
What?
Thank you for making the clarification that not all Latinos know how to speak English. I mean, speak Spanish. I thank you for saying that, by the way. Thank you.
But the young Latino female saw it. Because I normally keep it concealed, but I think because when I wash my hands and stuff, she saw it. You know, it was kind of like maybe showing itself, and so she started speaking Spanish. And then the older lady said, "Well, go ahead, leave." She said in English, "Go ahead, leave. I keep us covered for a while." I guess she assumed because of me walking in with a piece that something's bad finna go down. But I'm just a customer shopping. I'm the customer who you want with the one. I don't want to use this. I don't even want you to see it. I didn't mean for it to be seen. Now that probably is irresponsible. But with that in mind, though,
I don't know, John.
I'm not afraid with someone. Go ahead.
No. I'll let you finish your point I'll let you finish your point. But I'm just thinking, for all they know, they're thinking they don't want you being the kind of customer that's walking here, John. Because if you don't have enough ketchup with your fries, you might use that gun.
but in the world she's from, which is Mexico, most likely, right? There's
no. No. He made the clarification. They're Spanish speaking. He's absolutely right. Go ahead, Mayo.
But say they're from Mexico, right? There's one gun store in the entire country of Mexico.
Really?
That's how restricted guns are in Mexico. You have to have license after license after license, and most likely you're only going to be able to own a shotgun.
That's crazy.
So
Wow.
seeing somebody with a pistol, to her, the only people she sees with pistols are military, police, and cartels.
Yeah.
And guess what? He ain't in a uniform.
So I mean, I'm cartel.
She said this gringo is dangerous.
Yeah, but it's like But I grew up with people who carry pistols, who had shotguns in their pickup trucks. I grew up with this lifestyle,
right?
So it's not a big deal to me. Now there was a time period of my life when my kids were younger. I wouldn't have a gun around them, but that's just because although I grew up around it, I wasn't comfortable teaching them about it. And now when they got older, I felt more comfortable teaching them about them. But
yeah,
I've never wanted my kids to be afraid of it though. Especially of people who are
afraid of weapons or afraid of people with weapons. Sorry.
Don't be afraid of weapons or people with weapons. Be afraid of criminals with weapons is what I want you to be concerned about.
Well, until they pose themselves until they pose themselves as a criminal, you really don't know who is a criminal.
Remember we talked about the little girl earlier who you exposed
you
to?
She's a criminal?
No. Not the point I was trying to make, but I see how you got there. Because I did a bad transition there. but no, the point I'm trying to make is what she was exposed to. She emulated what she was exposed to. So when you expose your kids to people who are good citizens who carry weapons, they can identify people with good character better off than someone who's never seen them before. So you shouldn't be afraid of people who are everyday good citizens, your family members, friends who carry. Expose them to it. Let them know. These are what responsible people look like. This is how we act. This is how we logically think and process situations. We don't just pull out because somebody said something that made us upset. No, that's stupid.
I'm not sure. What you said, I agree with. I'm not sure cities or democratic cities, let me say it that way, are ready for that level of responsibility. And I mean, not in making that statement. I don't think the people in the cities are really ready to have that level of responsibility.
Well, what Democrat city? Because Atlanta has this, Gary.
No. I when I said it, I mean I like New York, like California. I don't think they're ready for that level of responsibility to be able to shirk the feeling of everybody else is dangerous because I know they have guns. I don't think they're ready for that. They have no choice. They have no choice. But I think that's why I said the fear is always it's going to be the Wild West because they're not ready.
Yeah,
they're not ready. They're not ready because
Wild West never happened. That's the thing,
right? But the
and
Wild
it's been
West is in
proven
their mind,
time and time again.
Right. Agreed.
And I think they're not ready because the government officials won't let them be ready.
Well, no, the government officials have no problem having guns themselves. They just don't want everybody else to have guns.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's the mentality. It's the mentality of the government, official governing. What else you know trying to say? It's the people who are in charge. They're putting all these pressures. They're putting all these restrictions on the citizens and making them uncomfortable. So therefore, they'll never be comfortable with the idea because they operate off this sense of fear.
Yeah, and they're the ones that are telling people it's going to be the Wild West. It's the local politicians.
So Zoomer, I'm not worried about what you quote saying is underage people with pistols. If they are taught to, because there are plenty of people who get their guns early in other areas. So if you're trained to be responsible, I believe that you're in the best you're one of the best predicaments. I think you're a better responsible person as you get older. I think you're better with your shots. I think you're better at what the laws are. That's not the problem. So I'm not afraid of older people. Of younger people, underage people rather, having pistols. I worry about people in general who have guns who don't have the maturity to use them, and that can be at any age. But maturity is a different thing altogether. So that's my thing when it comes to that.
When we were, honestly, I was 9. My brother was 9. I was 11, and we had my grandfather got us at a it was a kid size 12 gauge. And everybody thought that was, most people, you could do that. You could not do that now. You cannot buy a 9 and 11-year-old kid a 12 gauge mini shot, like a little kid size 12 gauge shotgun. People would go crazy now if that happened. But
yeah, they're afraid of having their nuts blown off.
But now in the city, we couldn't take it with us in the city because they lived in the country. But as long as we came to the country, we knew exactly where it's at. We can go to it. We can go out there, shoot at we wanted to shoot at because they knew they had a wide open area that nobody out there lived out there but them. It was no big deal. Now we didn't do it a lot, but it was there.
So Zoomer, so you said you like 21 and below. I'm assuming you mean guns. So if you're stating that people you like the idea of people having guns or being access to have guns because they're not underage because it's 21 below, what do we say to those who have access to guns because they can go to the military at 18? They get access to guns. What do we say about that? Why should 21 be the age? Because if anything, now I get to have a gun and I can drink. Those two things don't go well together. I'm just saying. So is 21 really the age? I think as long as you're at a responsible age, you should be able to have a gun. As long as you get the proper training. Because to be honest with you, I think the level of access early, the moment you get access to something early, you're more likely to treat that thing with respect over time rather than it be thrown at you and you really don't get the level of care to really deal with it. Because maturity over time is something that's way better than you just getting access to something you're not ready for it. That's in my mind. If you have too many options for things, we already know that you make the wrong decision most likely.
Oh yeah,
but being early
thing
and getting access to something that you wouldn't be able to get on your own, gives you a level of responsibility. This is why, not for nothing, even though I've seen other parallels, the people who I know who have gotten a permit early in their teens have been more responsible drivers than those who got it when they were an adult.
Oh, in Europe, you don't just start out with a motorcycle license.
Mm-hmm.
You start out with a moped license. Then you move up to 250cc. And then after a certain amount of time and years, you can move up to a bigger bike. Because you know how many times I've seen an 18, 19-year-old kid at Fort Bragg go out and buy a GSXR 750, and 2 weeks later, he's dead. Because he didn't grow up riding motorcycles.
Yeah.
And he went out and bought the fastest thing on 2 wheels.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like jet skis. Because any idiot with enough money can get out on the water and not know any of the rules of the water.
I agree. Which is why I think that proper training with the right person, a certain level of exposure, you're able to take care of those things a lot more. I mean, let's be honest. When I first started shooting weapons or whatever, it was younger people actually that was teaching me things. I was like, oh shit, you do that? Yeah. And you clean it this way. You do it. And I'm like, I'm looking at them, but at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, they've obviously had a household that were very comfortable with guns. And keep in mind, I was in Jersey. I was like, okay, obviously they know more than I do because they've been in the house with guns. It was just simple to me.
When I was a kid in Jersey, we used to walk around the neighborhood shooting rabbits.
Yep.
Because all the neighbors had gardens, and
Yep.
the rabbits were tearing
Rabbits
up the
go
garden.
crazy. Yep.
We walked around the neighborhood I had a 22 pellet rifle, and we'd shoot rabbits. Today in New Jersey, that site would usher in a SWAT team.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much it, guys. I love the level of the conversation that we had today. I'm wondering, you guys give me your thoughts. Everybody who's here on the panel, everybody's in the chat. As you can see, I do things on my own where I'm just like researching and sometimes I record, but I'm wondering if I should just do those things like kind of impromptu whenever I do research, and I should just go live and just see what I pull up on my feed. Do you think it's something I should be doing, or should I just stick to my level of whatever I pick out and then just run with that as well?
Do both.
Yeah, do both of them. Like I said, it especially when you got time, bro, to start an extra show. If you want to do one like you're doing and keep the show going like you always do it, and just have you another one where you, like I said, I'm willing. You know what I'm saying? Hey, hit me up. I'll double team that some big bitch if you want to go around YouTube world.
I hear you. Listen, I might just take you up on that because I think I started researching around. It was like midnight when I started doing something, or maybe around 1, or it might have been around 1 when I actually started just jumping up and started looking for stuff on my feed. I didn't expect myself to start recording, but as I was doing it, I was just like, oh shit, I could have just made this into a damn stream, which was funny enough. So I was just wondering if that's maybe something I should just do. If anybody would be interested in seeing something like that. And especially because I was thinking, I was up overnight doing it. I don't know if anybody else was really on, except for maybe you guys who were on Rumble. But I think it will be a level of people who were, if they didn't have anything to watch, or a level of engagement, or maybe they were bored and doing something, maybe they might be interested in doing something or talking about something.
Also, vertical stream too.
I know. I'm working on it.
Especially late at night. Because, man, dude,
I'm
right
working
now,
on it.
One thing I noticed late night,
Mm-hmm.
There's an absence of lives on YouTube lately.
Which is why I thought about it, because I was doing the research at night. So I need to work on the vertical. Believe it or not, I'm streaming right now. I'm want to kind of pull away from Facebook. I do stream on Facebook and I do stream on YouTube. I do need to do Instagram. What the hell
Twitter.
is that?
That's probably
that you, OG?
Am I popping? Yeah, it's probably me popping. God damn. Well, here we go. Here we go. I thought I was doing good for the whole show. God damn it. Now look at me.
OG, that's you doing the AOL again. OG, that's you doing the AOL.
Popcorn back there. Like I'm talking and I'm getting my thought in here. Pop, 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 pop. I'm going, what the hell is going on in my head?
OG doing that AOL again.
Hey, that's my fault, man. I'm sorry, y'all.
Yeah, I was actually doing a test stream for myself on Instagram, but now I'm trying to work out to make sure that both video formats work out properly. Because I know me trying to do something on YouTube and Instagram just works two different formats. Me bring one horizontal and one vertical. I am trying to figure out a lot of ways to work that. I do have, of course, my Twitter, but I haven't really worked on that yet. So I have been doing different mediums. I just don't think I'm going to get as much traction as I would like on Facebook. Besides Facebook, it's a pain in the ass to encode things like timestamps or whatever after the show is done.
Yeah,
but
Facebook's a dying platform.
It is.
Sadly.
It is, but there are a lot of people who are still on it, so it's a good way to drag people over from those mediums. So I think about that as well. But I always appreciate everybody's input.
One thing I noticed about Twitter, it dies on the weekends.
Interesting. I don't really watch on the weekend, so you're probably right.
You don't get a quarter of the content you do during the week. It's weird.
Right. Yeah, I'm not really on Twitter on the weekend myself, so you're right about that.
I think that's the time thing, bro. I'll tell you about it.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna end it right here, guys. I'm just gonna jump real quick to the back, and by the way, everybody, if you already know, OG's about to have his show later on today. Should they subscribe to your OGDoDirty page or
it don't matter, bro. If you want to go over to the porch at 7 here in about 20 minutes, the show will be starting. If you want to go to OGDoDirty page, in about 20 minutes you can. I appreciate the watch hours, but if you want a super chat, if you want all your comments and stuff like that, you know how Tom them do it over there. You can always go to his page. I don't mind, but if you want to support my page and give me some watch hours, I'm cool with that too. It just don't matter. Just as long as you be there. We just want you there on the show. That's it.
I'm gonna drop your page right now in the chat. In case everybody want to go over there. Be sure
we got a mystery movie tonight. I will be putting in the chat, nigga. Yeah, if you can guess the mystery movie, I will be cash apping you $5. If multiple y'all guess the movie, I'm just gonna cash up everybody $5. But I doubt if you get it because this is an OGDoDirty pig. So let's have fun tonight. And John, I'm gonna show you why I'm the best, sir.
Oh God!
I already
Here
know.
we go.
I already know it's not gonna be any good.
Wait.
Like
I don't pick many movies. I don't pick many movies, but I gotta say all my movies have been hits. Just want to put that out there. All my movies have been hits.
You heard that, John?
I heard what he said, but
I haven't had a flop yet.
I don't remember what movie he picked out, so I'm gonna be quiet.
Hey, Mayo in that category too. We gonna have to have a stream one day and figure out who picked the best movie because everybody ain't picked some cold movies, so we gonna have to figure it out. I want my title though. I want the crown.
I'm the coldest though. I'm the coldest at it. I don't care what we do.
We have the movie king. That's what it is. Movie king title.
Yeah. Mayo came close last night. The movie he had the other night we had Civil War. That one came close.
I mean,
I was pleasantly surprised with that movie. I really was.
Honestly, I did not enjoy that movie as much as I thought I was going to. I really did not. I don't know what it was. I was watching and I'm just like, this is not it. It's not it. I got
too invested in the characters. I got too invested in the characters. That's my problem. Invested because that little girl pissed me off, and that's what threw me off about the movie. But if I wasn't invested, that movie was good. It was her that pissed me off. That's all I'm saying.
But OG, that's when you know it's a good movie, when you get invested into the character. When they make you feel the way a certain way about them.
No, I didn't like. Bro, it's not that. She did some fucked up shit. It wasn't like she did a good character. I think she did a bullshit ass character. But bro, it was fucked up, bro. She didn't close old girl's eyes after she got her ass killed. That shit. I'm still stuck on that.
And OG
watching the ceiling.
Yeah,
OG,
bro,
guess what?
Up.
Guess
What's
what?
Up?
I guarantee she stole her camera.
That's a fact. And got all them good pictures, Mayo. Yep. See, that just made me no matter.
Yeah. All right.
She stole that camera.
Let me do a little bit of a closeout. Thanks, guys. I'm gonna just drop you back real quick. Guys, we went longer, but I really enjoyed the stream with the fellas up here. If you're not already subscribed or you're not willing to go check out, which you should, head over to OGDoDirty's page. Of course, he's gonna have some great stuff going on. He's got a movie apparently that's going on, very secretive movie. So we'll know a little bit about that. And quite frankly, as always, I love for the fact that you guys are coming in here. You're actually supporting everything that we do, that I do. And of course, you can always catch me on different mediums, of course, which put up here right now so you guys can actually see that, which of course is going to be my wow, I just finished talking about Twitter. You always catch me here on YouTube. Be sure to actually take a look. I drop a whole lot of shorts, and I'm actually thinking about some live stuff that's going to come forward to Instagram. And of course, if you have any tips or topics yourself that you would like to actually talk about, you can always catch me at Resla@opinionated@gmail.com. Also, for that IG, it's also Resla Opinionated. So you also know that as well. And with that being said, I hope you actually like a lot of the topics that we got going on today. Shout out, of course, again to OGDoDirty for actually showing up. Mayo Monkey, always appreciate you guys showing up. And of course, John the Baptist giving his critiques as to what things that are going on here. And of course, shout out to him because he's got a birthday celebration coming up. We always want to appreciate people who are getting a little bit older in the game of life. With that being said, I appreciate you all being here. Thank you for supporting. I know we had a bit of ups and downs, highs and lows, but that's the way it goes through life. And I want to thank you all for showing up. I'll see you in the next one. And until then, you stay opinionated. Later, y'all.